Is not an alien force already among us?
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
From some other species, from another planet, outside in the universe.
Welcome to S4.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to S4, the official radio broadcast of Forest Moon Paranormal, with host Eric Cooper and our panel of enlightened minds. Coming to you live from FMP headquarters located in the heart of Skagit Valley, Washington, at the base of the majestic North Cascade Mountains. We will take you through a journey of exploration as we examine every aspect of the metaphysical. From spirits, UFOs, Bigfoot, and conspiracies, to grounding, protection, astral travel, and everything in between, leaving you with a better understanding and comprehension of the world around you, and the entities that inhabit it. Join us every Saturday night at Spreaker.com and locally on KSVU 90.1. Don't forget to check out our new webpage at www.s-4radio.com. Now sit back, open your mind, get ready. This is S4.
Good evening or morning, depending where you are, and welcome to S4, the voice of Forest Moon Paranormal, coming to you live from the FMP headquarters in the heart of the Cascade Mountains in Concrete, Washington. FMP is a highly active emergency response team for all aspects of the paranormal, from aggressive hauntings to alien interaction, Bigfoot and other cryptids, and everything in between is terrifying. S4 is the voice where we discuss these things in detail. Not only can you find S4 right here on Spreaker, but for our local listeners, also on KSVU 90.1 FM, from 10 to 12 Saturdays with pre-recorded shows. So, folks, tonight, it's the 13th of April, we're talking Project Blue Book and the comparison between the television show and the real files. So, yeah, it's a lot to talk about. We'll also be talking about UFOs in general, and is the government still involved in them? What about disclosure? Tonight we also have special guest Richard Giordano from UFO Network with us to discuss many of these topics. So tonight we have Colwig Leitner, our FMP Lore and Culture Research Specialist and owner of Statement of Sound DJ Services. We have Brent Dodge, our Astral team. Chris Chris isn't in on tonight. Well, she's kind of here. She's listening. We have Brent with Astral. We have our Keith Andrews, our S4 Alien Race Specialist, and Rich Giordano from the UFO Network. So how are we doing tonight, guys?
Perfect.
Figure I'm breathing, so what the heck?
Say again?
It said figure I'm breathing, so what the heck?
Well, we haven't heard from you in a while. So
well, unfortunately, a stroke will do that to you.
I know it. But you know what? You made a huge jump. I mean, you recovered quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, the doctors are still trying to figure out how I'm pulling it off. I mean, I knew it was healing fast. I just didn't realize how fast.
I'm dying over here. We got to give a shout out real quick. So we have a lot of upriver folks listen. We got to give them a shout out. Hey, thanks for listening. We got Poland. We got Bolivia. Again, and I know we have a listener occasionally in Vietnam. I think that's phenomenal. Vietnam, that's cool. And real quick, May 11th at the Burlington Library, 4:30 p.m. for our locals. We are offering a Paranormal 101 presentation and an FMP Meet the Team. Always looking for new boots on ground to join the team. And of course, 4th of July, I look for us in the Log Rodeo Parade where you can see our drone, our Bigfoot. Yes, our Bigfoot. We're going to have Bigfoot. I don't know how we're going to get him, but we're going to get him.
Twinkies and beef jerky.
Exactly. And marshmallows.
Yep.
And marbles in Matchbox cars.
But no Reese's Pieces. That'll bring other characters we might not want there.
Gremlins.
Yeah.
Yep.
And aliens. E.T.
Oh, God. That's right. I forgot about that. I don't know how, but I did. And don't bring Rainier beer because you're going to bring Paul.
Well, no, if you want Bigfoot, you gotta bring kokanee.
That's true.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay. And that makes sense, actually. Oh, all right. So Project Blue Book. And I'm going to start right off with, I was highly disappointed. Highly disappointed.
Yeah.
Welcome to the club.
So, Rich, we haven't had you on the show before, I don't think. And I know you kind of skimmed it because it was, well, disappointing to say the least. I felt it had too much of an X-Files feel to it. They never, and they never did come out and say it was a documentary. I'll give them that. But I expected more. I expected more on the basis that it was supposed to be based on real UFO files from, the government, from Project Blue Book, the Air Force. And they did have, I guess, real case files, but they weren't even remotely accurate. I think Flatwood's monster might have been a little bit accurate, but the Betty and Barney Hill persona, like we were discussing before the show, they weren't interracial. And, Betty was white, Barney was black. That's that's always been a known fact, but they were both black in the TV show. Why would they even change that?
I thought about that. That's a good question. I think they did it because they didn't want people to really focus in on the real story. They wanted you to focus in on their production, their show. So I think they wanted you to listen intently and even maybe confuse you a little bit, like it did me. Am I looking at Betty and Barney Hill's story? What is this? I don't understand. The implant? I think they did it that way on purpose. And and they should say this show's loosely based on real facts. I mean, this was like the loosest of loose. I mean, it doesn't get any worse.
Yeah. And it takes all their credit, but it takes all their credibility away. For anyone that's been in the UFO field for more than a minute, that knows that story.
Credibility? Whose credibility? History?
No, the TV shows. The fact that, what's real and what's not. They threw so much BS in there that was a big key factor because interracial marriages were very taboo back in the 60s.
But to base go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. And also the fact, though, that, they never took an implant out in the real case. And,
nope.
And they completely skipped the whole hypnotherapy part because hypnotherapy, again, was taboo back then. You didn't hear about it.
They did. They went into it.
Did they?
That's how they got the information out of him because J. Allen Hynek was also a hypnotist. So he put him under and got,
That's right. But J. Allen Hynek didn't hypnotize him. It was a member of their church that hypnotized him.
He did it all. From the second episode, he was seeing UFOs, seeing monsters, seeing spirits. This guy went through everything in 3 weeks than I've done in 15 years. It was the craziest thing.
And that's the thing. They totally switched those two roles.
Yeah.
And Hynek was always the skeptical party in actual fact.
Yes, he was.
Whereas Ruppelt was more inclined to believe everything that was going on around him. It was actually Hynek that explained it away as swamp gas, not Ruppelt. But they totally switched the two roles in the show.
Yeah.
They switched it, but they also kept it the same by having him be the one who explained everything away.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. The process was reversed, you're right, but the explanation was done by him as if it was him actually being the skeptical one in real life. So they tried to keep it together, but it fell apart because they lied. Why they did this way made me so disappointed. It had to have you too.
Well, I'm not even going to bother with the second season. I just ain't. I didn't. And like you said, I didn't get to see the finale, and I was disappointed that they weren't bringing up the UFO White House flap, which apparently they did in the finale. They briefly covered Foo Fighters, and I'm sorry, but Foo Fighters were a very, very big issue in World War II, and they barely touched them.
Yeah.
And
I honestly can't believe it got a second season. Like, its ratings aren't that great.
I don't think they'll make it. I have more interest in Stranger Things than I do with Blue Book.
The episodes are almost done. They've only got like 1 or 2 left. It'll be back in like 2 months. So it's going to be a short hiatus.
Yeah. They want to keep their momentum.
Well,
going.
Well, because Lou Elizondo is having his TV show coming out May 12th. So once that ends in June, they'll put this one back out.
Oh, that must be what. So Tim is in the chat room and he said just wait till the TTSA production next month on history. Is that
it is.
That must be the Lou Elizondo. And I'm not even going to bother. I'm not going to waste my time.
You have to.
I'm not. Dude.
Why? This is Lou, man. This is the guy. Everybody's been waiting for TTSA to say something, and this is it. You're not. You got to be interested. You're just saying that. Come on.
So you got
really?
So Rich, you got to come on Roundtable next week.
All right.
Okay,
but
so
I did though.
Like the first episode drew 3.88 million views.
Did it? Well, yeah. Everyone was curious. So
the last episode dropped all the way to 2.87.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's still good for history, though.
It is.
If you have 1 million, you're doing good.
Right. But that's a big drop because it shows you how many people were actually disappointed with the show.
A third. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
No.
And I think I was disappointed, so I can't remember if it was the third or the fourth episode where they both him and the captain got detained because they went into a secret military base, and they see aliens in containers, and they call them apes. Are you serious? And that's where J. Allen Hynek stole the alien artifact and yada, yada, yada. But for him to be a skeptic, as much as he really was, how can you deny that you saw aliens?
Well, that's relatively easy.
It's just...
Well, in the TV in the TV show, he had to act that way. He knew what he saw in the TV show. He knew what he was seeing.
I mean,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No. I was disappointed. I'll leave it at that. I had more entertainment out of X-Files, which I expected to be entertainment, than I did what was supposed to be a reality-based series.
See, apparently I was one of the lucky few that didn't get disappointed by the show. Of course, I never turned it on, so that might explain that.
Right.
Well, and I think if we went into the show knowing that it would be pure entertainment, we might have actually enjoyed it.
Here's
Well,
the
didn't you
sad part.
realize it was on TV?
Yeah.
Huh?
I said, didn't you realize it was on TV? You know, Hollywood sent me a contract one day to tell my story. And then promptly in the contract they sent me told me they wanted to be able to lie about it, cheat it, alter it, you know, modify the whole thing. And the really funny part was they sent me a contract that right in the contract said they were allowed to breach it and there was nothing I could do about it.
Huh.
And then they couldn't figure out why I wouldn't sign the contract.
Go figure. Yeah,
Wow.
no. You send a contract to a lawyer anyway and let them review it.
I didn't need to get that far.
Okay.
When it says in the contract we're allowed to breach it and you've got no rights afterwards.
Right.
You don't need a lawyer to figure out that's...
Well, you know, it's just like, you know, we had a TV show that posted in FMP the other day that claimed to go into clients' houses and clear them. And it reminded me of all these other TV shows. It just really did. I mean, are they going to be another disappointment? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Are they going to be the ones that are going to send us clients because they didn't follow through? I guess we'll have to wait and see. I have no faith in paranormal TV.
Oh, I do. I know they're going to screw it up.
Good point.
Well, it's all about ratings. And that's the only thing. You can't get 3 to 4 days of shooting accurately portrayed in a 45-minute show.
And get that much activity.
No. You know, and it's just like when a certain TV show came here to Concrete and destroyed the client's reputation, destroyed the client's home, and made the clients look bad to where they actually were getting threats from fans of that show because they didn't listen. They had people driving by their home taking pictures. How did they even get this family's address unless it was leaked? Because nobody in this community even knew this TV show was here. So it's not like, you know, oh my God, that's them. No, it wasn't like that. They didn't start coming by this family's home until the day that particular episode was aired. So, yeah,
That's obvious.
I've got no faith. And yes, I am grumbling. Trip is in the chat room going grumble. Yeah.
But you know what? It's okay to grumble. You have every right to, and you're right to. You know, because this is awful what they did. Take J. Allen Hynek and make him look like a bumbling idiot. It also made him look like he didn't love his wife that much anymore. You know, he got so involved with work. The way it was written and produced and directed was done in a format that works most of the time. They just, I don't know if it was casting or what. And by the way, that actor is unbelievable. He's in Game of Thrones. So, I mean, he's a really good, accomplished actor, played J. Allen Hynek. But the show, even with the Men in Black showing up the way they did, episode 1, Men in Black already? Are you kidding me? They threw so much at us. It was like you had everything in this show, but it was too much. And I wish I didn't know anything about UFOs to see what I would feel about this if I was just a casual observer. I don't know.
Well,
it couldn't have been good.
But that's the thing. Can you imagine the people that watched Blue Book not knowing anything?
Right.
Hi, that's me. So.
Oh, good.
It was still ruined.
Okay.
Because they picked one of the worst actors ever to play Hynek. That
really?
was my major problem with the show.
See, and I like him. I thought he was good.
I hate him. He's from Game of Thrones. He plays Littlefinger, one of the most hated characters. They finally got rid of him, and I am so happy the way they did it. They let a 13-year-old girl cut his throat. That was great. Now, if only we could have saw that in the book.
That's a testament to his acting. You actually hate the guy for playing the role.
No, it's actually him. I'm not a fan of him as an actor.
Oh, okay.
So
I know those kind of actors.
Okay. Yeah, totally. I get it. She did cut his throat. That's right. It's coming out tomorrow.
I know.
Man,
I'm on.
Talk about
season
real
six.
TV.
I'm on season 6, episode 1. I've been binge watching for 2 weeks, and
Oh man,
I've watched 6 seasons in 2 weeks. I'm doing good.
You getting caught up?
you did. I did what you did. I did that a year ago. Yeah.
So I gotta
Isn't
ask
it
you, Rich,
great? Yeah. What's up?
where do you see disclosure?
I don't. I see a.
I was
I
waiting
see
for
a-
that answer.
I see a ruse, man. This is. If you ever listen to what Elizondo says at the MUFON symposiums, whatever you want to call those things that he goes to, he actually says nothing. And I mean that in a nice way, but also it's true. He'll tell you we have ways that we might be able to figure out what makes a plane fly and why it flies and why the UFO flies. And he tells you how a plane flies. He tells you how a car works. He tells you all these things, but he doesn't tell you disclosure's on the way. He says, somebody asked him, they go, Lou, what? Do you think To the Stars Academy is going to have anything new for us this year? And he goes, I sure hope so. I hope so. What happened to yes? Of course. We have all this stuff stockpiled. You wouldn't believe it. Crystal clear UFOs. Oh, man, the data we have, it's fantastic. And he says, I hope so. Like it's exactly what I expected him to say.
You know,
And
my biggest
I-
problem is I'm still trying to figure out what people are calling disclosure. Like how
Well,
much
and-
proof they need.
So
Yeah.
they're
Need an
waiting.
alien.
They're waiting for Trump to come out in a White House press release that UFOs exist, aliens are here. That I think that's what they're ultimately waiting for. It's
Now,
not
given
gonna
the
happen.
amount of deception that standard politicians have handed out, why would anybody trust that kind of a disclosure process?
Well, today I don't think they would.
You know, I mean,
I
I'm
was gonna
thinking
say,
there are
well,
monuments in cities around the world. There are laws in France regarding landing UFOs. How much disclosure do you need? Like, what's going to make people go, yeah, they're really here?
Well, I think
I was going to say them being over the White House and him saying it at the same time.
Well, yeah, and
It's not-
I think the closest that they ever came from Trump was when he talked about the Space Force. Why would you need a Space Force unless there's something here or there was a threat?
Because everybody wants a lightsaber.
I'd like to, there's a few people I wouldn't mind seeing get a lightsaber.
And I agree, Nikki. That's probably the best thing because Nikki's in the chat room talking about it brought the topic of UFOs to a broader audience. And I guess, same thing with paranormal TV shows. That was the benefit it brought. People were more comfortable talking about these topics. And that's the only positive.
No. Yes. But nothing in a year? Now you're going to come out with your little TV show? Oh, that's going to be great. Tell me stuff I already know again. Come on, man. That's all they're going to do. It's a rehash, a remake, a redo. It's a rebuff of everything we already know, just in a nice new package.
Yeah.
So
Well, I believe
More
that's the same
drama.
way they do grocery shopping. Same garbage, new package.
Right. Instead of paper, it's plastic now. And, I know what you mean, new wrapping. Yeah, I got it. But that's the thing. I wanted Lou, and I was waiting for them to drop the other shoe. Now they gave us these 3 months a year or so ago and nothing since. And now he says, well, I hope To the Stars Academy brings you some incredible new stuff. I don't know. I mean, but I hope so.
Yeah,
So that's the negative side. I was waiting for them. That's their out. Now they have their out. He gave them an out to not do anything. I don't know why I'm so this way. I guess over the years, it's just, Dr. Greer saying it's dead, disclosure next year, Bassett, and the year after that. And it never happens. Disclosure, what I think everybody means, we want to know if the aliens are going to come meet with us. But we know UFOs are here. We want to meet the aliens. Are we the only ones?
No, trust me, they don't.
You're right.
Yeah, I mean, let's
but
face
we
it,
do.
people have problems with people from different nationalities that are all human. They do not want to see a reptilian walking down the street, and they certainly don't want to see an octopod.
No, they'd faint.
100% agree.
They
I
would
agree with
faint,
that.
and their entire world, their entire little sheep world, would crash down around them.
Heck, I know an awful pile of people in the UFO field that were they to see a live alien, they'd be right beside themselves trying to figure out how to deal with it.
Man, it's so true.
Oh, but I'm going to say, and I've said this on the show so many times, disclosure happened in 1952 with the UFO flap over the White House. You can't get any more than that. It had radar returns, and it went for a week straight. That was disclosure. And nobody paid attention.
Imagine if that happened now.
They would call it, so they'd call it
They'd
a lot
probably
of things.
shoot it down.
We'd probably shoot it down, or try to shoot it down. We wouldn't be able to. But they would probably say, oh, well, it's actually a 3D graphic that the U.S. military has been testing with, and it's not real. And the little green man that stands in the White House lawn and shakes Trump's hand, that's actually a demon. That's what would happen. There's been so much fakery on YouTube and twisted, people faking videos and people faking pictures and whatnot, that what's real and what's not. That's what it boils down to. I'm going to use, for example, even the picture in FMP that came up last night. It was a circle in the sky here locally. Now, a lot of the people trying to explain it said it was a diesel ring. One, it was too high. The smoke, if it was a diesel ring, I saw the video where they tried to emulate it, and the video that actually made the ring that looked like it had too much smoke or a haze around it. This picture, which was a series of pictures from the start of this ring to it dissipating and disappearing, held form. And it reminded me so much of The Arrival, it's scary. The circles that the aliens made in the movie The Arrival. And, Cole brought up the perfect point that, well, you explain it, Cole.
Well, okay, so this circle was almost a perfect smoke ring, except for the fact that on the left side of it, there was a circular part, like a sphere.
Mm-hmm.
No smoke ring is going to create a sphere on one side that is bigger than the rest of the ring. That is not going to happen, especially from a diesel truck. Not only that, but with how high it was in the sky.
No, it was
Diesel smoke does last, but
yeah.
This smoke was black, and it was high enough that there's no way it would still be black. It had mixed with enough oxygen already that it's going to be gray by then.
And it was enough elevation to have been like aircraft elevation.
Absolutely.
I say 300 to 500 feet. If that was a ring, there were no factories around, because I can understand their point. And Nikki's asking where it was. This happened up around Gem Creek, between Darrington and Arlington. Now, another possibility, and I won't deny this, is the fact that there is a military base in that area. Could it have been an experiment? It very well could have been. Could it have been something the Navy was doing? It very well could have been. But it just, even the guy that took all these pictures of it said it didn't form right and it didn't leave right. And I'm just going to say this: FMP, we investigate UFOs, we investigate Bigfoot. I don't encourage or endorse some of these other agencies, if you want to call them, that do the reporting. The only other reporting agency that I do endorse is Newfork when it comes to official reporting. That's the only one. I'm not going to say names. I'm not going to say anything else other than that Peter Davenport does a good job. But FMP, we do our own reporting. We do our own investigating. So when people go in FMP and say, oh, no, you need to send a picture of this agency. No. We have certain agencies that we endorse and that we support. And if they aren't listed that we, list, then we don't endorse them. That's just the bottom line.
Eric, for all our listeners, I just shared that the smoke ring at Jim Creek on our S4 Facebook page.
Okay, good.
And just there looking for it.
These happen around the world. And some of these rings, yes, I agree, they might be from factories. You have smoke that goes up chimneys. It could be. And some of these smoke rings are debunked. This particular smoke ring that was posted last night was in an open field. There wasn't pyrotechnics that went up in the air. There was nothing that left from ground to air. And there were several witnesses. One was actually a sheriff deputy. And they were all looking at it going, what in the heck is that? So, you have multiple witnesses to this event. And that lends credence to it, in my opinion.
I don't see it on the Facebook page. Sorry. Yeah.
On the S4, not on FMP, so it's on our S4 page.
I forgot. Yeah. All right. Thanks.
And yeah, Trip, I do agree. There have some been, I've seen some videos out there that show how some of these videos, or how some of these smoke rings have started and whatnot. And yeah, those are easily debunked. This one, no. This is one that still is unexplained. And like I said in the group, this is unexplainable. I'll leave it at that. Is it alien? I'm not going to say it's alien. Is it UFO? I'm not going to say it's UFO. It's an unknown. Other than that, keep your eyes to the skies because a lot of weird stuff's happening.
Well, that's one thing that frustrates me. Every day there's UFO sighting somewhere. I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't understand how there could be this many UFOs flying around, and we're still struggling.
Put 2,500 races floating around the city, you might find an idea how you can have that many UFOs.
So what?
It's a lot of UFOs.
So Keith, do you have an explanation? I mean, is there anything in the alien world that you're aware of late that's causing an increase?
Well, yeah. The xeno-socioeconomic dispensation of power on this planet is what's causing their interest. Basically, you're looking at from a xeno-socioeconomic standpoint, this is an extremely exciting time because mankind is at that point where it's either going to pull itself together or blow itself up. And it's very rare for the off-worlders to get to see it firsthand as a civilization does this.
Oh, so they're excited that we're going to blow ourselves up?
No, they're excited at the struggle between it, because from a educational standpoint, it's extremely exciting for them. It's kind of like with botanists watching a new plant grow.
So they're going to wait 50 years? I mean, we've been talking about blowing ourselves up since Cuba, and the Russian missile crisis, Cuban missile crisis.
You guys have been talking about blowing yourselves up for a lot longer than that.
Yeah, exactly. So, good.
You got to remember, these civilizations are thousands of years old. 50 years is nothing.
Yeah,
I guess so.
But Rich, you've also got to remember when we were close to launching, there have been several UFO cases where they actually came in and they shut down nuclear silos.
Right. Yeah,
So,
I know.
would they actually let us blow ourselves up? If it really came down to it, I don't think they would.
Well, certainly. If you guys were going to turn around and wipe out the human race and leave the planet alone, they'd let you do it.
Well, that's not encouraging.
Oh.
But look at what they're letting us do now. We're killing the planet.
But
well, here's the thing. Humans are doing such an incredible job of damaging the planet, but they're not killing it.
That's true.
They're doing pocket damage. Yes, it's kind of like throwing a grenade into the backyard. You'll make a mess, but it will recover.
Okay.
The thing that is really fascinating from the off-worlder standpoint is the humans are the only race that is deliberately either actively trying to or through blatant neglect they're poisoning the one planet they rely on. You know, it's kind of like poisoning your own water system. Now, there's a lot of races that will poison somebody else's water system. But Terrans are the only race that is doing it to themselves.
And it always comes down to money. This costs too much to clean up.
Greed.
Greed. Money, yeah. It's all about money.
And fear.
All it is. And, yeah. And fear of losing money. It's true. It's crazy.
Money itself is not the problem. I'll tell you, the one thing we got to remember where it comes to money is it's easier to move $100 than it is to move 100 head of cattle.
Or moose.
Or
depends
moose.
how big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because moose just don't cooperate at all.
That's not true.
Well,
If you put them in the freezer, if you put them in the freezer, they participate very well.
And actually, in the fridge, they'll marinate nicely too.
Yeah.
Now, getting to Blue Book, do you remember if they brought up the Battle of L.A.? Or is that in season 2?
They did not. They didn't.
See,
Season 2, I'm not. I don't know. I think that's what's in season 2.
it should be. Because, I mean, and they should be going a lot more into abduction. Although I'm not sure if abduction was one of the Blue Book project areas. It was more of the UFO sightings. But Battle of L.A. was, was a phenomenal event. Where we had multiple military agencies shooting at one craft.
Yeah, it's usually a bad idea to shoot at a craft that has essentially a force field.
Mm-hmm. Well, they found that out because they didn't destroy it.
I would imagine way better weapons.
Yeah. Or a better targeting system, one of the two.
And, we had a lot of activity in Vietnam during the Vietnam War. I mean, I could go on and on. There was a lot of cases that they didn't even touch that should have been touched on. And I get
Huge.
I get that they only had 10 episodes to do, but there was a lot better cases they could have focused on. And they didn't even scratch the surface on the Foo Fighters. And the Foo Fighters were a very hot event in World War II.
Well, I don't know if J. Allen Hynek, did he study the Vietnam UFOs?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
That's what I think, because I think Blue Book is just here in the United States.
Right. But it was
so
US,
I don't.
But it was U.S. military.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's true. Maybe they will have a pilot or somebody come home from Vietnam 20 years later. Do a story on it. How long was Blue Book around? Only, 10 years?
It ended in 1969, I believe it was. But did it really end?
Okay.
No.
Yeah, really.
But they did change the name a number of times.
Yeah, they changed the project. It was Project Grudge for a minute. It was Project, oh God, what were the other, some of the other names they had?
Majestic 12, was it?
No.
Was that one of them?
Well, MJ12 was when you saw in the Blue Book series that group of men around the round table, that was MJ12.
Okay.
MJ12 was a council of figureheads, basically, that met to discuss the Blue Book cases. And of course, you had Paperclip in there, you had MK Ultra in there, you had all these other projects going on, but Blue Book was only focused on the UFO sightings, of which I believe it was 11% were never answered. And 11% is a high percentage when you have unknowns. And it definitely wasn't swamp gas.
Well, let me ask you guys, because 2 times now we talked about disclosure, and it seems like you guys were balking at that disclosure has already happened, but it really hasn't. And I think it's because isn't that what we want? Is that alien connection to see who's out there? Isn't that full disclosure? Because I know we haven't had it officially, even though we have. I get it.
That'd be where I have the problem. Is I'm not entirely certain what people are expecting for exposure. So much for English.
Right. No, you're right. That's what I always say. We don't know what it is. Maybe that's why we can't have it. Maybe it's so complex.
I don't think we should have it.
I don't either.
I don't think humans are ready for it.
No.
Not even close. No.
No, that's for certain. I mean, let's face it. Humans have too many problems with humans.
Yeah.
Right.
We freak out when they change the Starbucks cups. How are we going to handle disclosure?
We can't even say Happy Holidays versus Merry Christmas, let alone an alien walking into Starbucks to get the same cup of coffee.
It's ridiculous.
And rest assured, some of what they drink humans will not appreciate.
No, not even close. And, you got the other ones on the other end of the fence going, what do you mean humans aren't ready? Yeah, they are. No, they're not.
I don't even think I'm ready.
We've been dealing with aliens and FMP for quite a few years, so we know they're here. We've dealt with them. And, it's even tough for us sometimes because we'll come up with something unknown and go, huh? What in the hell is that? It reminds me of Predator, and you're going, you're one ugly mother, yeah. And so, yeah. If, and granted, a lot of us are ex-military. We don't get scared. We don't balk at a lot of this stuff, but if a civilian that's never encountered something sees one, I can't even imagine. So, yeah, humans ain't ready for it. It reminds me of Independence Day when the little boy's out there watching this big craft hovering over the city and the whole neighborhood's freaking out.
And
that's what it would be like.
Yeah.
Can you imagine today?
I do imagine. It's just not going to happen.
And that's why I live in the mountains.
I envy you. I wish. So when do you think this will ever happen? I say never. That's just me. But do you guys think 50 years is close or too far?
You mean when the off-worlders will actually show themselves?
Yeah, that's right.
Like, I mean en masse, not just the occasional. You're looking at 50 to 100 as it stands.
I think you'd have to go many generations of just getting everybody acclimated to the idea in a 100% agreement, as close as 100 you can get.
And
are we halfway there? We're halfway there then.
But I think they've tried to start with some of the movies. I think the movies are their way of attempting to acclimate us that, there might be something. Is it working?
Well, then they fly a big craft over Phoenix, Arizona in 1997. Then in 2005, they have the Chicago O'Hare disc for 5 minutes hovering over the airport. So there's little things that keep leaking out that are huge. I think that's getting us used to the idea too. But it's not. It's too far apart. 10 years, 8 years is too far in between. It's got to be more frequent.
So Trippin is asking in the chat room, why wait until we have better weapons?
Well, they ain't going to be good enough to fight them off anyway.
No, we've talked about that on the show before too. One EMP blast and we're in the Dark Ages. And that might not be a bad thing.
Except for Joe.
Although it will play havoc with your show.
Oh, yeah, okay, so S4 is going to be off the air, but you know what? We got bigger things to worry about than producing S4, if that was to happen.
Yeah, just a little.
These are alien overlords.
Oh,
That's the thing. The aliens don't want to control this planet. They really don't. If they wanted to, we'd already be in shackles.
That's true.
Yep.
What I'm saying is I think they might do a better job than what we got now.
Oh, you obviously haven't seen the economic situations on their planets.
That's true.
Trust me on this one.
So Tim is in the chat
Aliens
room.
have better toys, but they do not have better. They are not that much wiser.
So Tim says disclosure is never going to happen. People would revolt being lied to by our government. Totally ticked off militias will say they were right, etc. And I would have to agree with that. You look at the Truman contract with the Greys. And, the U.S. government made this contract that they could abduct a certain number of people, which they violated. But what are we going to do? Nothing. And in exchange for, fiber optics, cell phones, computer technology, probably weapon systems. Look at DARPA. What do you think DARPA got their information? Are humans that smart? Yeah, I agree. Humans are smart. Humans could come up with that. But I think there was a lot of information that was given to them that helped escalate it.
There was, but the stuff they were given that was supposed to be released, they didn't bother releasing.
No, like, getting away from coal and oil.
Hey. Why do you want to get rid of me?
Oh, yeah.
You want less?
Oh. And Joe's in the chat room. Yes, pointy sticks. That's what we're going to be subject to. We'll be stuck with pointy sticks. But they will be effective.
What are we stuck with?
Well,
hey.
Reptilians use pointy sticks.
Yes, reptilian. Depending on the reptilian, I mean, if we take a look at the Sirtosians, they also use maces.
Uh-huh.
The medieval mace, 2-3 pounds of metal on the end of a club. The Sirtosians use one as well. The only difference is it's the size of a medicine ball.
Yeah, but Joe's pointy sticks are better. They're made of titanium.
Which is great until you get triphasic armor.
I agree. And the numbers. Because you're not just fighting one reptilian. They were reminding me of raptors.
Oh, you're talking Teklik. Yeah, that's called a pack attack.
Uh-huh. While you're focused on one, you got 3 more coming from the sides.
Yeah, let's not forget the 2 that are dropping in on you just on principle.
Right. And, yeah. So how many races are actually watching what we're doing to the planet?
Well, now that's an excellent question. I have heard a count as high as 2,500.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God.
Okay. I've dealt with 50.
I thought 53 was the number around there.
The human race is not in those numbers.
No.
Just saying.
Yeah, right?
Well, the human race is the dominant one on this planet.
No, but we're not one of the ones watching what we're doing to this planet.
Oh, heavens no. Well, actually you are. There are three types of humans. Those that make things happen, those that watch what happens, and the majority of them sit there and wonder what happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are the ones that have their heads in the sand right now.
Yep.
And that's
sad to say, most of them are in control positions.
Yeah, well, I was going to say a majority have their head in the sand.
But in all fairness, given the state the human race is in, the real question is it really a bad thing that the people that do know for certain whether or not that they're here, is it really a bad thing that it's not being made public knowledge?
Probably not.
No,
because Go ahead, Rick.
I was just going to say we want the technology. That's why. I think that's it. We're greedy.
I do believe the term is you can't handle their technology.
Yeah, I would agree.
Oh,
we're not ready for their toys.
Well, think of it this way.
I believe that.
Mankind has a tendency of pushing buttons when it finds something new.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if we take a look at the main battle cruiser that the consortium uses, take the Titanic, turn it broadside and shove it down the main barrel of their gun, and you still got room to maneuver.
Speaking of the Titanic, did you guys hear the story? Actually, it's not a story, it's reality, that a UK company is building a complete replica of the Titanic.
I hope they're going to finish the bulkheads.
Well, they're actually going to sail this Titanic in the exact path the Titanic took.
Then they better complete the bulkheads.
Right.
That's called the Darwin effect.
Well, yeah, can you imagine all the spirits that are going to jump on the boat when they get to the point that the Titanic, gets there?
Well, it would be entertaining.
Now,
from my standpoint, anyway.
I got to ask, have you guys heard that it was a possible UFO attack on the Titanic?
I never heard that.
Yeah, I haven't either.
So there were two.
UFOs do a lot of things, but they do not control where the ice flows.
No, and I would agree. I just heard a very brief report, and I'm not even sure how accurate it was. There's no validity to it, but the other two boats that were too far to come and rescue the survivors actually saw lights in the sky. Now,
there was one that was pretty close.
Yeah, and it was a very brief report, so I really have no idea how true it was. I just found it interesting.
Yeah. Well, I won't argue they might have seen a light in the sky. I mean, let's face it, it was night.
This is true. And it was probably planets.
Or it was the other ship going by and waving.
Well, yeah, that could have been true, too. I also heard a recent report that Russia, and imagine this, they put tanks in submarines. And they took them to Antarctica to fight off the reptilians.
Then there would be an awful pile of twisted chunks of metal in Antarctica right now.
No, not just that, but there would be a lot of submarines stuck on the bottom of the ocean because you couldn't put a tank in a submarine.
Sure you can. You just have to crack the hull on it and shove it through the side.
I've never seen a submarine that big. So is Russia at war?
Oh, wait a minute. They were sending Tinker Toys.
Apparently, I was thinking Lincoln Logs.
That would work. Although they didn't work with a hoot for mechanical stuff.
Or Lego tanks.
I like Lincoln Logs.
Legos. They're building tanks with Legos.
I hate Legos. I'm a parent now, and Legos are the enemy.
Oh, yeah. Stepping on them when you're walking across your living room, it hurts your foot.
You should try stepping on a four-sided die. The Lego actually feels really good comparatively.
Oh, God. And Tim's in the chat room going, why didn't they use a ship? Well, again, I have no idea about the validity of this story either. I just find some of these stories fascinating.
But I have heard that that's what they were doing, going to Antarctica and fighting aliens.
Yeah, but putting a tank in a submarine,
I never heard of. Yeah, I never heard of that.
I'm not going to go into the analogy that I'm thinking of, but
yeah, don't. Just don't go there.
Fighting aliens is okay, but putting a tank in a submarine, that's just crazy.
It is. But So what's going on in Antarctica? We have about 3 minutes before we have to go to break.
Well, there's a fair chunk going on in Antarctica. Let's not forget Antarctica, before it froze over, was solid ground.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's actually dirt underneath all that ice.
Well, I'm sure there's other things underneath the ice, too.
Absolutely.
Things that we don't want to deal with.
God, I would love to go there, though.
No, you don't. Be careful what you wish
No?
for.
It's cold.
Yeah, I
but
know.
those penguins,
Yes.
they make it all worth it.
There's obviously a party going on. They're all wearing tuxes. I know, that was so stupid. I know. I had to say it. Well, there's been some activity that was captured on, I don't know what electromagnetic waves were coming from Antarctica, heading directly to the North Pole. Really strange bursts of energy have been coming from that area in the last couple of years.
Not surprising, given the amount of effort that mankind is putting into exploring the area.
Right. And supposedly it used to be tropical over there.
It was.
Amazing.
If I recall correctly, it was almost 400,000 years ago, but it was tropical.
Which is nothing, yeah.
I mean, a little before we came along, but...
So when did it freeze over?
As far as I gather, about 360,000 years ago.
And what made it freeze over?
Oh, that would be called natural evolution of the geological timeline.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Isn't it just the tilting of the axis?
Yeah, it's off by, I think, 17 degrees.
So,
but there has been significant movement, though, of the poles. Like,
yes.
They're moving faster than they've ever have. Like, it's almost like the crust is slipping.
Well, if you tilt something on its side and keep it spinning, it's going to slide.
But wait a minute. I thought the Earth was flat.
Hey, ho.
Yeah, I was at Facebook a little while ago. There was a chap that was from the Flat Earth Society that did state very clearly that it's a growing movement and there are thousands of members around the globe.
All right, so folks,
hold
that thought. Hold that thought. We're going to go to break, and when we come back, we will carry on this conversation, and we're going to touch real quick, because I hate this topic, but we're going to talk real quick on the flat Earth, because you know what? NASA just took a picture of the Earth, and it's not so flat.
You are listening to S4 on Spreaker.com.
Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
Well, hello there. Us here at S4 would like to remind you out there that the UFOI team weekly meetings are broadcast live on Facebook from Denny's, where America eats, each Monday night, 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at UFOI Team on Facebook. The UFOI team's gear, product store, and newsletter are located on their website at ufoiteam.com. To contact the UFOI team with your sightings report or a paranormal story, send an email to theufoiteam@gmail.com. Keep looking up and tell us your story.
Forest Moon Paranormal is a non-for-profit emergency response team that handles all aspects of the paranormal, helping you, your family, friends, and community since 2004. Whether you're having a problem with hauntings, spirits, Bigfoot, other types of cryptids, or UFO activity. Maybe you're just unsure of what's bothering or terrifying you. Or maybe you're just afraid of criticism and disbelief. FMP is here for you. We handle cases globally and locally from our headquarters in Skagit County, Washington. We never accept any form of payment for our services and are 100% confidential. You can find us on Facebook under Forest Moon Paranormal. You can private message us for assistance, or just come join in the discussion and become part of our growing FMP community.
Hello, my name's Cole Wegleitner with Statement of Sound DJ Productions. We do mixing, monitoring, recording, and editing for all your audio needs. For our local listeners in the Skagit area, we are taking bookings for your 2019 events and parties. We have a wide array of music from any genre. Please allow us to help you make these memories last forever. Contact us at 360-999-2830 or on Facebook at www.facebook.com/SOSDJPro. Join us on September 28th at the Cedro Woolley Community Center for 2019 Forest Moon Paranormal Paracon. VIP All Access passes on sale now at fmparacon.com. Your pass includes all-day admission to see the speakers and workshops, the Ghost Walk, a special VIP workshop, a special round table with the speakers, a Paracon t-shirt, and an FMP Paracon swag bag. These tickets can be purchased from fmparacon.com. Get yours today.
Hey everyone, Cole here with S4 Paranormal Radio, the official voice of Forest Moon Paranormal. Looking for a way to get the word out there about your business, group, team, or product? Let us help you. A few clicks is all it takes to get started at s-4radio.com, or you can contact me at 360-999-2830.
Welcome back to S4 with your host, Eric Cooper.
Welcome back to S4 tonight. We're discussing Project Blue Book and UFOs. You can also find the archives at our Spreaker site and on the S4 YouTube channel for all the shows you missed in the last 2.5 years. We're almost up to 3. Anyway, back to the show. So, before break, we just barely mentioned the flat earth, and we were discussing during the break, what if the ice wall that all these flat earthers think blocks us from falling off the earth dropped an iceberg, which the Titanic hit?
Dun, dun, dun.
Something to think about.
Amazingly enough, contrary to our current history, the Titanic would have sunk.
Right? I would think. Anyway, NASA just released photos of the Earth.
Not photos, a video.
A video. It
was a video.
Oh. Yeah, but it's been photoshopped, so it's good.
Yeah, that's what they're going to say, too. Well, yeah, NASA photoshopped it. It's fake. The Earth is really flat. See? When you pour a cup of water on a plate, it pools up, and that's what created the ocean.
If you can find it, it is an amazing video actually to watch. They pretty much took a very expensive GoPro and put it on the side of one of their rockets.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts from blast off. They show it leaving the Earth. And I never understood before why they always make astronauts go in the spinny chair. After watching that, now I get it. But then that thing spun so quick, it was amazing.
So it's really just for them to entertain themselves.
Pretty much.
I want to
But,
be an
you know,
astronaut.
the flat earthers also just spent $20,000 doing an experiment that proved them wrong.
Well, that's okay. That one got buried.
Well, yeah, you know, when an experiment proves you wrong, you just disregard the results.
Well, they can't. You know, if you're wrong, then the experiment was done incorrectly.
So Kayla's in the chat room. She says, according to her ex-coworker, the Earth is flat, but because of the fact that it spins so fast, it causes it to look like a circle. Okay, that explains everything. It does.
Yeah, if it was 1 inch wide.
Oh no! Even as thick as it is, if you spin it fast enough, it will look like a circle.
But if
the sad part is that the speed it has to now spin.
But if it spun fast enough, wouldn't we all go flying off? Or oh wait, no, we just hit the ice wall, like a merry-go-round.
Well, electromagnetic energy would keep us connected to the Earth.
That much electromagnetic energy would fry us.
Oh God!
I mean, it'd be kind of like the sandstorms on the Swazian homeworld. You know, here you get into a sandstorm in the Sahara Desert and you're blinded. On their homeworld, you get into a sandstorm and your flesh is peeled from your bones in a heartbeat. Simply because of the density and because of the particulates in the air.
And Trip is saying, don't forget about the Flat Earth cruise coming up. So they're doing a cruise?
They're going around in circles.
Gotta go in circles.
Ever see a canoe go over the edge of a waterfall?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Well, that's a good
going
start,
around the world in a day.
They're hoping to find an ice wall.
No return ticket.
Right.
It's a one-way cruise.
No, they're just going to take the boat until it runs out just over halfway past the balance point, and then it'll tip, catch the water, and go down the next way.
You know, do you guys know why when planes fly from, I guess, off of the African coast, they don't go to straight line to the next continent when they can just go straight over? Right? Aren't those readings from the GPS on the airplanes, they lose their signal and then they reappear when they're about to land?
Well, you're thinking about the Bermuda Triangle.
I wish it was. No, but they always talk about it. Why don't they go in a straight line? It's 8,000 miles less than if they go up the way they're told to go. And it makes sense.
It does, but there are so many different countries that don't want them flying over it.
Yeah, and I'd have to add to that, I think some of it has to do with airspace. Just to get...
No, this is over water.
Okay, then never mind. Just trying to think logically why, but it does make sense to me.
Now, how would your thinking logically help when they're not?
Right.
Well, a lot of it might have to do with known weather patterns, too.
Yeah, because where you know you got a heavy storm center, you don't want to be running a plane through it.
Yeah.
But they didn't blue book.
Well, some people do.
I know 8,000 miles is a big difference, but not when one way guarantees you're going to get there, the other way doesn't.
No, the other one guarantees you'll get to the water.
Yeah. Your flight just became a cruise.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called ditching.
Well, you wanted a cheaper flight. We're only flying halfway there.
Yeah.
So, Keith, what do the off-worlders think about us continuing our space missions?
Well, it's the only way you're going to get off the planet. But they do feel that mankind should get off their tail feathers. I just about said that wrong. Get off their tail feathers and start working together and pooling their resources instead of trying to kill each other and trying to do it on independent continents.
So, if we're space brethren, or we're supposed to be tied to some of these races that are, consider us part of the Galactic Federation, for lack of a better term, why don't they help us?
Because you guys don't listen.
I get that.
It's quite literally that simple.
Sorry.
So,
the sad reality is this. Mankind has this brilliant idea, and I'm talking in general.
Mm-hmm.
They're told, you can't, that's not safe to do. Oh, we can do it. We're better. It won't happen to us. And unfortunately, the reality is that if mankind would actually think about it, you can make a lot better headway if you work together than if you're ducking bullets while you're trying to invent things.
And I agree with that. How many times have they attempted to make contact with human civilizations?
I gave up counting decades ago.
When's the most recent?
Yesterday.
With who?
Well, I know that they've tried it with both Canadian and the American governments recently. Okay, the fact of the matter is, they're in contact anyway, but getting mankind to think is being a bit of a challenge. It's kind of like trying to get a 2-year-old to behave itself.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. I would agree with that, especially in today's state of affairs.
What we have to realize, well, we don't have to apparently, what would be wise to realize is that mankind is not the brightest race in the universe. They do not have they're still building their medical society, their medical system completely backwards and incomplete. Okay, and until they start looking at it properly, they're not going to be able to understand a lot of it.
I'm not even sure we're the smartest friggin' species on this planet.
No, but but humans are the most technologically advanced surface-dwelling race. This does not make them the wisest or the smartest.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still convinced that the way mankind got out of the caves was by accident and they couldn't find their way back in.
Well, and then, according to some, we play with fire and burnt off the hair. Now we have, no hair on our skin.
Well, I know a few people that did that.
The cave women liked the men without chest hair. And
right.
That's what happened. They started shaving.
And Joe's in the chat room. Yeah, owls are the wisest. Yeah, and that's sad.
Yeah, I mean, just watch Winnie the Pooh.
Say again?
Just watch Winnie the Pooh.
Right? Perfect example. So, where's the consortium in all this right now?
Well, sitting right inside the main ships right now are sitting right inside the sun's photosphere. And keeping go ahead.
Are they gaining any new races to join the consortium, or is it still the same?
Oh no, they're constantly expanding, just not around here. Primarily because there aren't that many extra races around here that aren't already involved.
Right. Okay.
And by the way, I am making that book that we were talking about. I should have it ready before the idea is to have it ready for the Paracon.
Good. So, explain what your book is to our listeners that don't know what we're talking about.
It's going to be a book covering a lot of the races that I've dealt with, and at least in short form, as well as I'm planning on putting pictures of and these are not going to be state-of-the-art Photoshop pictures, so scrap that idea, of the ships, as well as some of the advanced technologies that are being worked on.
And so, that's actually come up. What is FMP going to do if disclosure happens? Well, FMP's been dealing with UFOs and aliens for Oh, God, I've been in the field for over 20 years, so, yeah, it's much easier for us to explain and contact Keith if we get an abductee, what race it is, what the, based on what the ship is, which race it is, and what their agenda would be. So our mission will never be changed, even if disclosure happens. We'll just be a lot busier.
Yeah, it could make a social life rather complicated.
Yeah, it's complicated already. So Nikki wants to know where can we buy the book and when it's out. We'll definitely get that information out. It'll definitely be at Paracon if he gets it out in time.
Yeah, I've run into a little bit of a glitch where it comes to typing right now.
Understandably. So for those that don't know, Keith had a stroke back in what, December?
December 28th.
Yeah. So
left me bedridden and unable to talk.
You're talking phenomenally well. So Joe's got so when we were talking about Antarctica, we mentioned that the Perry Rise map shows the unfrozen coast of Antarctica, which no human has ever seen. Did the aliens show someone what the coastline looked like?
Not exactly. A lot of that coastline is extrapolation. Now, do understand that although it started freezing over 360,000 years ago, I forget the exact time, but it was only a few hundred years ago that the last of the coastline was buried. So I mean, you'd get with the original explorers, you'd still get a fair chunk of the coastline you could see.
And that makes sense. So no off-worlders showed. Oh God, who was it? Because I do remember that story. When they made the map, it showed Antarctica as a continent. When it was frozen over. And the question always came up in ufologists that how did he know? Unless somehow he saw the continent as seen from above.
Yeah, and likely, I mean, I can't say for certain, but that does actually make totally logical sense.
Well, and it's just like the planes of Nazca, the designs. I believe there's a monkey. There's what looks like there's a spider, a monkey, what looks like an airport landing strip, and again, these were created, thousands of years ago before airplanes, obviously, and you can only see them from above. So how do they create them?
Well, something did dawn on me that could answer that one really quick, and humans could do it very easily, especially back then. You'll love this one. Try astral travel. You can actually see if you learn how to fly in the real world.
Right.
You can see the planes and get the picture laid out, so you can you can cut it into the ground.
It's true.
And that is very true, but you think the astral travel back then? I'm sure some of them
I know
did.
for an absolute certainty they did. Of course, can't prove it for obvious reasons.
Well, no. But do you think it was more common back then than it is now?
Absolutely. Back then, people trusted their instincts more than they did science.
Okay, and that makes sense too.
The ironic thing is, as science developed, people kept coming up with this brilliant idea that which they were watching, which they were physically watching, was impossible. Which defies logic itself.
Right. So how many off-worlders back then were trying to interact with humans?
Well, it depends on how many years back we go.
So back when they were designing the planes of Nazca.
You were still dealing with probably a few hundred anyway. The reality is that the numbers haven't changed that much. Okay. What has changed is mankind's awareness of them.
Okay.
And of course, with technology getting to the point that it is, it's a lot harder to see them. Or to hide them, rather.
So were they more open back then with humans, and they've gone back into hiding?
Absolutely, because much as humans back then were still afraid. It's amazing how little damage a spear will do to a force field.
Right.
Although the really ironic part was that spears would actually penetrate the personal force fields easier than bullets will.
And Joe brings up a good point in the chat room, too. People have always been aware of the aliens. They call them gods. And some of them I would agree with. Some of that I would agree with. Cowboys and Aliens. Excellent movie. Have you guys seen that one?
Yep.
Yep.
Still yet to see it.
Excellent portrayal of the Wild West. And it shows, their technology wasn't that great in the Wild West, other than when you see the mothership. But they had very ancient-looking craft that actually flew, and their means of abduction was kind of crass.
But it was effective nonetheless.
Well, it was. Flying through the air with a rope, with a hook. They hooked you, basically. Interesting.
Also extremely fatal.
Yeah.
Mind you, it's like when the seafarers first started drawing humans underwater to take them down to their world. The first number of abductions didn't go that well.
So let's talk about fairies for a second. Are some of the fairy races off-world?
The true fairy races? No.
No, the true fairy races are from here. But you look at fairy lore, and some of them, there's a lot of correlation to off-worlders.
Yes. Well, in all fairness, the fairy race started off-world. Okay. But they had to start off-world because when they started, the world wasn't here.
Okay. So before the creation of the world, they were off-world.
Yes. Well, let's face it, it's a little hard to be on the world before the world got here.
Mm-hmm. So where did they start?
Before the last Big Bang.
No, did they start from another planet? Did they start from interdimensional? Where were they before the Earth was created?
They were spirits.
Okay.
So technically it'd be different vibrational is more accurate.
Hey, I got you.
See, the thing that people don't seem to realize is everything existing on Earth and in the known universe is three-dimensional. Granted, there's a lot that vibrates at a higher pace so you can't see it, but it's not a different dimension. Because something from the fourth dimension cannot exist in the third dimension, nor vice versa.
So Joe's got a question for you. Do the fairies have their own little tiny ships, or did they hitch a ride on one of the other alien ships?
Now, that depends on which fairies.
Right.
Many of the fairies are Terran-born. But there is a race that there are two races of aliens I know of that have tiny ships.
They're orbs, are they not?
Yes.
Okay.
That's one of the causes of orbs.
Right. No. Okay, we're going to shift to Bigfoot for a second. I've seen a lot more video footage and a lot more stories of Bigfoot here in the Pacific Northwest attacking. And I found that intriguing because, most of the time you'll find Bigfoot just keeps to himself. Even if you go just walking in the woods and you enter his territory. But there were 3 cases, specifically, where one Bigfoot actually chased 2 boys all the way to their house, crinkled their garbage can, tried to get in the house, couldn't, and left.
Okay, well, there's two problems there. First, there is another race that looks very similar to the Bigfoot,
right?
Which is the Wara. Second, if a Bigfoot got to your house, getting in the front door is not going to be a problem.
Not for a Bigfoot, I wouldn't.
He may not be able to open the door, but that won't slow him down much.
Well, this one was
Bigfoot.
This one was kicking the door.
Okay, the door is not staying up.
Yeah, there's.
It was a big metal door, a heavy metal door of some sort. I forget which kind.
Yeah, but I still have a problem with that, Brent.
I know. I'm just
saying. You're talking a 9-foot creature that weighs in excess of 500 pounds. He's going to kick if he can crinkle a metal garbage can into a Frisbee, he's not going to have a problem knocking down a metal door.
Yep.
Unless it's in a metal wall.
I mean...
The metal lock.
No, the Bigfoot are not a violent race.
No.
The one thing that could cause them to run after you, and then you ain't getting back to the house because they can outrun you one stride every 3 of yours.
Mm-hmm. So talk about the Wara for a second. What's the difference or similarity between the Wara and the Bigfoot?
Number one, they're both obviously hirsute.
Right.
Number two, the Wara the best way to describe the Wara is Planet of the Apes. Okay, they've got the intelligence, they've got the maneuverability and the strength. And the ones that you usually end up seeing are the gorilla size. Okay, and for those that don't realize just how big some gorillas can get, they can reach the 8-foot mark without any real big problem. But they are, for the most part, they are more, they are a relatively peaceable race. However, if you get into their territory, they'll start by rattling trees and making whooping sounds. Kind of similar to what the Bigfoot does.
Okay, so
although the Bigfoot won't shake the tree.
So the voice, the way they communicate is the same then?
Essentially, yes. It's still hoots and animal mimicking.
Do they both do... So Joe's wanting to know, does Bigfoot use tools like pointy sticks?
No, because you don't need pointy sticks to bring down a raspberry bush.
No, he just runs through it.
Essentially, yeah. Now, the Wara, on the other hand, are far more hunter-based.
And, okay, so I'm trying to differentiate here.
Well, think of it this way. The Bigfoot are herbivores. Yes, they'll eat a little bit of meat when it comes to things like insects.
Mm-hmm.
But they are not a violent race. Like the pictures that they show where Bigfoot has great big sharp teeth are about as far off as you can get.
Right.
Okay. They don't require them. Okay, when you take a look at the Wara are a predator race.
And is it the Wara? So on the second case on this one video, these two women walked up, and this is all three of these cases happened. Well, actually, the first two cases happened in Washington State. The third one was in Oregon. And the guy that I can't remember names. I'm not going to say names anyway. But the third case, the guy says he was in contact with this race, and they actually told him that they came from off-world. They were an extraterrestrial race. They were here to make contact with the human race. So
that'd be Wara.
But this particular race was not predatory.
Well, it's not here to hunt humans, if that's what you're referring to. Definitely not.
Okay.
When I say they're predatory, I don't mean that they're hunting humans.
But they will if they're hungry and you're in their territory.
Or much more importantly, if they're threatened.
Okay, but the second case, and one, I think they were stupid because you're walking through the woods, you feel watched, you're kind of creeped out, and you see what looks like a funky little house. And it's at least 9 foot tall, and it has branches over it. And they're so far up, it's not going to be a hobo. It's not going to be a human, but they go into this structure.
Yeah, that's not right.
No, that wasn't smart at all. So, one, they entered his home, basically, and I'm sitting here watching this video going, really? You just entered into Bigfoot's living room. I would be ticked off. And, yeah, Chris is in the chat room. There were bones, clothes, and a backpack in this house hut. Obviously showing a predatory race.
Yeah, that wasn't Bigfoot.
Huh?
I said that wouldn't be Bigfoot.
No.
First of all, they don't exactly build houses. The Wara do.
Okay. And where did the Wara come from?
Would you believe me if I said off-world?
No, not at all. Because, in the third case, and that would make sense because I've never thought Bigfoot came from off-world, but this guy is saying they communicated with him, and, well, they're from off-world. And so him and his wife and another Bigfoot hunter were sitting in the dark in the middle of the woods. One, to me, it's stupid, but okay, whatever. In a semicircle in chairs. Bear in mind, it's pitch black. There are no flashlights. They don't have any kind of light. They look at their buddy, and he's got light emanating from his shoulder down his arm. And they look behind him, and they see an orb. And this orb shoots up into the sky and hovers over the trees, they're sitting around, and poof, gone. All of a sudden, they are surrounded by what looked like Bigfoot. And that's where he was communicated with. Apparently, I don't know. He didn't say telepathy, but I would assume telepathy because, well, he didn't say they talked to him, but he kind of got communicated in his head. That's telepathy. So then he came out and said they're off-world, they're here to communicate with humans, and there you go.
Well, I won't argue with the fact that they were trying to communicate with humans. They've been doing that quite consistently. I know of a couple places where they're set up trying to make contact. But humans, if you think off-worlders are a little skittish, you should try humans when you get an off-worlder in the neighborhood.
All right. Chris has a question for you. Do you think Bigfoot would actually care for a small child?
The answer is definitively, unequivocally, yep.
Yeah, and I agree, and I know she's referring to the 3-year-old that was rescued by a quote-unquote bear, which, I'm sorry, but one, this is back in January, February, a bear is going to be hibernating, and two, a bear is not going to rescue a child.
No, but a 3-year-old will see a young Bigfoot as a bear. I know this for a fact because I had that experience when I was a kid.
Exactly. And, you got all the skeptics going, oh, but I've heard of wolves and bears taking care of young. Well, yeah, but that's not common. And Greg is in the chat room. He's got a question for you, Keith, relating to implants. He's been told he has a holographic implant in his right forearm. Do you have to go off planet to get it off or to get it put in, or is it a birth thing?
Well, I am curious if he's referring to a holographic implant as in it's just a holographic picture, if you will, or if it's an implant capable of holographic relay.
So I've got to interject too, because, we've had a couple clients that had holographic implants. They were generally centered in the center of the brain, or placed in the center of the brain, not in the forearm. That one's new to me. So have you ever heard of a holographic implant in the forearm?
Well, yeah. Again, it's a relay. So that's why I asked if he's referring to just the image of one, or if he's referring to the one capable of holographic relay. because the holographic relay ones you really want closer to the surface than what you would end up with the biomagnetic static that gets caused from inside the human brain.
Okay. Which race is doing this holographic implant? Is it the same one that's doing the one in the brain, or is this different?
It's likely the same one, but a different purpose.
Okay. What would the purpose be?
Well, the purpose would literally be the subquantum tracking, taking a look at emotional impact on the superstructure of the brain.
Okay. Because I know we've talked about this before, but the holographic implant in the brain is generally an upload-download tracker.
Yes.
Or not tracker, but it's meant for uploads and downloads of information.
Now, the ones in the brain, to have them removed, you're going to have to go off-world, or you better find a better medic on this planet than what mankind has developed thus far.
And that's why we don't mess with those ones.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, generally speaking, even astrally bursting energy into it, I still wouldn't, no. Anything involving the brain, I wouldn't mess with.
No, the side effect can be rather devastating for the host.
Yeah, most definitely. So, yeah, unfortunately, we couldn't help that client. He didn't want help, per se, because he wasn't impacted by it, other than the fact that, well, he was seeing holograms all the time. It kind of impacts a person when they're trying to work to pay the bills and they have holograms coming up.
Yeah, it can screw up your vision.
And the off-worlders don't understand that.
No, but then they don't understand why mankind is still charging each other just to eat.
Right. So, with that information, and with the abductions that are going on, and, folks, Keith is going to be at Paracon. His whole topic is going to be abduction and the agenda of different alien races with abduction. So we are going to be talking about that tonight as well. But make sure you come to Paracon. You can meet Keith. You can ask him your questions to the VIP. You get your VIP tickets now. But the alien agenda. So we have all these off-world races that are coming here just to watch the planet and watch human civilization destroy itself.
They're not. It's not a case of watching it destroy itself. It's watching whether it decides to destroy itself or survive.
Okay. But why do we still have abduction going on? Wouldn't they pull back and stop abducting, or are there other races that are still intrigued by DNA and genetics and human biology?
Well, there's two issues there. You do have the other races that are still caught up with that, but even the ones that are watching the xenoeconomic modifications, what they're doing, what they're looking for in the experiments they're doing as far as the abductions go, is they're looking for the subquantum impact on the cell structure of the human genome.
Okay.
People, even human doctors will tell you that stress kills.
Well, yeah.
Okay. Well, the off-worlders are just looking for a little bit more detailed information than what humans are capable of pulling up yet.
Oh, we're trying to figure out what stress is?
Essentially, yes.
Okay, Rich, you still with us?
Yeah.
Okay, you're just listening. What is your experience been with alien races?
I don't know. Just dreams, I guess. I mean, I haven't had any one-on-one things that I think were happening while I was awake, although I've had countless dreams of being not implanted, but I guess able to be taught how to use my mind to read people's thoughts, and I was able to somehow move things with my mind. It was really interesting, the dreams I've had. Going inside telekinesis.
Yeah.
I mean, I there's a dream where it looked like I was taken underground, and I called it sub-level 4, purple.
Mm-hmm.
Get in an elevator, go underground. You're in the middle of a desert. All you see is dust, sand everywhere. And you get into this elevator, go into the ground. And people have told me what I've described sounds like I was in Dulce, I guess is how you pronounce it.
Yeah, Dulce, New Mexico.
Dulce.
It sounds like either Dulce or Area 51, actually, because they're both desert.
But in the dream I had, it was the year 3000, so I don't know where I was.
Right.
That's how dreams work, man.
Well, let's not forget that I'm aware of anyway, there are 6 different calendars in existence on the human side of things.
Right.
So where you were, it would not be a shock if they were talking about it being year 3000. For them, it may well have been.
I never thought of that. That's wild. Yeah, that makes sense.
Joe's got a question in the chat room.
Okay.
And so did the Greys ever hire Bigfoot as security around their ships? And Bigfoot's been seen around ships when they land.
Yeah, the answer would be no. And there's a reason for that. You don't grab a backwoods farmer and ask him to watch a laser.
Well, I'm just saying, if the Greys are listening, I am available for hire, and I am not a farmer. I'm just a backwoods local.
Right.
Rednecks are functional.
So I've heard the same stories. I've heard of the stories where, you've got a landed craft in the woods. Bigfoot's been seen getting off the craft, picks up some soil samples, get some water samples out of the stream, get back on the craft and fly off.
Remember that thing I mentioned about the Wara being off-worlders and looking very similar to Bigfoot, especially with their gait?
Right.
That's right.
And I would agree with that because I've heard more stories about Bigfoot running terrified when there was a UFO in the area.
Can't imagine what would cause that.
Well, and I've said my theory before about that is, why wouldn't, if aliens are abducting humans, why wouldn't they abduct Bigfoot as well? It's all about DNA, is it not? So
yes, it is.
But I would imagine Bigfoot would always have to be on alert here on Earth. Or do they need to be on alert? Or do they have some sort of sense that we don't have where they can detect us? Or maybe smell us?
Oh, they certainly have the extra sense. But the point is, they're also always on alert. I mean, rabbits are always on alert.
Right, yeah, I get you. How many of them are here? Do we know? Like, I heard it was like 5,000.
I have no idea. They multiply too fast.
Yes, there are families of them. We have had witnesses of families of Bigfoot. So
yeah,
it's not all male. You've got female Bigfoot. You've got child Bigfoot.
You got child Bigfoot.
Yep, they've been seen upriver, as a matter of fact. So there is no doubt in my mind there are families. I also believe in the wintertime they do migrate. They go higher up the mountain. They come back down lower during the warmer season. They essentially follow the food.
Now, Keith, have you ever heard of any alien races having contact with Bigfoot?
Oh, yeah.
Like, do they have as much trouble finding them as we do? Is what I'm asking?
Well, in all fairness, no, but they've got better toys to find them with.
That's true, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But they do have a much bigger problem holding on to them than what mankind does. Of course, mankind can't get a hold of them in the first place.
No. And, going back to, I'm a firm believer that Bigfoot are interdimensional to begin with, so you wouldn't, it'd be hard for aliens to be able to track them to begin with.
Well, this is where we run into you and I run into a little bit of a discrepancy.
Okay.
Okay, number one, they're not interdimensional. However, they are extremely good at vanishing right in front of your eyeballs.
And how do they do that?
By a combination of camouflage and know-how. Okay. I've seen humans that can vanish right before your eyes.
So it's basically energy manipulation.
Yes.
Okay.
And movement. I met a gentleman one day, a human, that he was standing right in front of my eyes, and I blinked, and he was 15 feet behind me.
Wow.
Only I know how he did it, as in he explained exactly how he did it. Okay. And it's literally an issue to get them to move that fast, especially at that range. All you have to do is get a person to blink, and if you know what you're doing, you can get out of sight.
So I'm trying to keep up with the questions here in the chat room. We're getting a lot of questions tonight. So Tim wants to know, are Bigfoot in packs more or individuals? I think other than having, the individual Bigfoot that have a family, the family unit would stick together. Other than that, you do find a lot of individual Bigfoot in an area.
But again, I wouldn't call them a pact. I'd call them a family.
Right.
And there is a big difference.
Oh, yeah, very big difference.
Yeah. And Joe's got a question. Can Bigfoot see in the dark? It's been reported they live in caves. Maybe they have built-in night vision.
Yep. It's a lot easier for him. Virtually everybody that moves around at night, if they're functional, have night vision. They've either got low light vision or IR, infrared.
Right. And Kayla is wondering if the ET that you're talking about have ever mated with a Bigfoot and create a more aggressive subspecies.
It wouldn't be an entire surprise, although I don't have any first-hand knowledge of it.
Right. Okay.
But considering there are hybrids on just about every other race, there's a few races that the Greys have not figured out how to hybridize yet. But that's because they're so genetically complicated that they can't cross them over.
No, we haven't talked about this topic in a while. Chupacabra. Go over Chupacabra one more time.
Chupacabra is a really neat little pet that got away. And quite frankly, they're more akin on the Tekla ships. They are more akin to rats on the old sailing ships.
Yeah, wonderful. And I haven't heard anything real valid about Chupacabra in about 20 years. I heard about Chupacabra a lot back in the 90s. More recent, you don't hear about them. Were they exterminated?
Captured is more to the point, and not by humans.
Right. Well, no, I figured that if they were, if they got out here by the off-worlders, and the off-worlders would go take care of them.
Well, I mean, let's face it. If you lose your cat, don't you go and find it?
Yep.
Or your dog?
So, what other cryptid-type creatures are you aware of that are similar to the Chupacabra that got out?
Well, I know the Muldocs have lost a couple. Okay. But, just for those that aren't aware, the Muldocs are, there's actually a really good picture of them in the movie called Predator.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very accurate rendition. Okay, the thing is, the problem I have with telling you exactly which ones are out there, as far as you guys go, is I've never done any research on it, which means I don't know what you've been looking at.
Right. And the Muldocs, we've talked about this before too, because I like the Predator alien.
So do I. He's a nice guy.
Well, I always thought
a bit temperamental, but
I always thought the movie version was pretty cool because they actually show a more human element of sympathy, and I think it was the third one where he actually rescued. I think it was Sigourney Weaver. I can't remember.
Yeah, I forget the actress's name, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he saw her as a warrior and rescued her because they were actually fighting Alien.
Alien versus Predator.
Yeah, Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
with the pyramids.
Yep.
yeah. No, that's not Sigourney Weaver.
Okay.
No, that's not.
It was a new girl that had nothing to do with this.
She was an Avatar, right?
So Joe's got an interesting question about that too. Alien versus Predator, who would win?
Oh, that's the easy part. Depends on who got the strike first.
Yeah.
And proximity. If the Predator gets to see the alien, the Predator will win. Because the Predator has range. The alien doesn't. However, if the alien gets within contact, the Predator is hooped.
Yeah.
I liked when the alien infected the Predator.
I didn't, because that ticked me off.
I thought that was hilarious.
The biggest problem, and the biggest thing you got to realize with the one that they show in Alien is the race is real. The only difference is it doesn't have the extending jaw.
Okay.
Okay, if they're infecting it, if they get a hold of a predator, what they're doing is eating it.
And talking about movies, and we're going to be doing a completely different episode just on movies in relation to the paranormal here, I believe, in May. But I've got to say, in Blade, I think it was Blade 3, where the dogs had the extending jaw, and that reminded me of Alien.
Yep.
But they're vampires.
Not exactly, but you're close.
Well, no.
That's what they showed in the movie, yes.
Yeah, Blade was about vampires. So,
Blade.
Is there a vampire race?
Yes.
Off-world race.
Also known what I call shadow walkers.
Okay. And so are these some of the shadows that clients see in their bedrooms when they wake up?
Sometimes, but not often.
Okay.
The shadow folk are another issue altogether.
Right.
How close is the Hollywood perspective of it?
Well, aside from the fact that they don't burst into flame when you expose them to sunlight, they are stronger, they are faster. It's not that they're allergic to garlic, it's that their sense of smell and their sense of taste is so freaking high they don't like the stuff.
Right.
I mean, if you've ever been sprayed with garlic juice yourself, you'll know how much of a pain that can be.
Well, no,
okay, and yeah, stabbing them in the heart with a chest will kill them, or stabbing them with a stake. Of course, stabbing a human in the heart with a stake will kill it.
I can make it.
So Joe wants to know, how do you kill a vampire race?
A pointy stick.
Well, pointy stick will work.
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot of ways of killing them. Decapitation is easy. Blow them up, burn them,
What about
Any way
sunlight?
that destroys the body does work rather nicely.
Does sunlight affect them?
They are sensitive to it. They will get a sunburn like you wouldn't believe, kind of like albinos.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's also a medical condition with people that are sensitive to sunlight. I can't remember the name of the medical condition it is.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it either, but you are right. And it is a very real condition. Yeah. And yes, they solve it the same way vampires do. That's why the people with a severe case of that condition do drink blood.
Okay.
Okay, and the reason for it is because their body just cannot create its own iron, and the only way they can get enough of it is to get straight blood.
So Greg wants to know, can you bring anything back with you from the astral plane, like a residue of a creature that slowly vanishes? No. Now, there are methods within astral that if you have the know-how to do it, you can actually reach through the veil that's created when you're in astral to knock things over, but it takes enormous energy and enormous mastering of your astral ability.
Yeah, I'm presuming he's referring to accidentally pulling him through.
I think he's possibly, but I think he's referring to, so like when we were doing the alien I'm not going to go into the story. I've told the story before on the show. But when we had the alien war, where our team was actually combating aliens, can we bring a body back with us? No, we could not.
No, because they're running at a very different vibratory rate to start with.
Exactly. And, the skeptics out there go, well, you killed aliens in astral. Where's the body? Well, there's not going to be a body.
Sure there will. It's in astral.
Well, yeah, exactly. But there's no physical body we can show. So,
So what did you kill?
Oh, God, dude. I'm not going to go into that
could
story.
You have...
So
okay. So could you have lost your ability to astral plane if they got to you?
Actually,
if they killed your astral.
Actually, you could die.
Wow.
There are dangers to astral travel. Your physical body will die if you get damaged enough. So we had a team member that did get hit with an energy burst, but she was pretty much just knocked out.
Wow.
But yes, you can die. That's one of the dangers of being on the astral team. We do have protocols that are in place to protect them.
And training to protect them as well.
Exactly.
What you're describing sounds like something I've done accidentally.
And we'll talk. We actually do have astral school going on right now, so if you want to jump into the astral school, by all means, we can get you in.
Oh, yeah, man, that'd be cool. All right, thanks.
And that goes for listeners as well. I know Trip is supposed to get with Richard, our astral instructor. I'm not sure if he did or not. He's in the chat room, so I'll know here momentarily. And we're actually coming to the top of the hour. We'll talk for another. We have about one more minute, and I'll go to commercial break. And on commercial break, folks, if you have a business you want advertised, by all means, go to the website, www.s-4radio.com. We can always use commercials. We need more commercials. We need more sponsorship. So go to the website, hit sponsors, and we have different packages you can look at. But great show tonight. I know we jumped off topic, but you know what? I know our listeners love hearing about aliens.
Can I say something on what Tim's saying in the chat room?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so Tim's asking, how do female vampires do their makeup? They can't use mirrors and they live alone. Well, with the whole idea that you can't see a vampire's reflection in the mirror, the reason for that was because mirrors in the early 1600s, 1700s, back then, they used silver nitrate inside the mirror. Nowadays, they don't use silver inside mirrors to make them. So now their reflection would show nowadays if that part was real.
And you know what? That actually makes total sense.
The ironic part of it, when they say that people can't see a vampire in a mirror, it's because of the speed that the vampire vibrates to start with. Just because humans can't see them doesn't actually mean they can't see themselves.
Why does that make sense? I don't know as much as vampires. Why does it make sense?
Take your hand, hold it in front of your eyes, move it really quick, and see if you can track it.
No, not about that. I'm talking about the way the mirrors used to be made.
Because silver. If it was made with silver through folklore, was known to kill werewolves, lycans, vampires.
But why does that stop their image from being reflected back? I don't get it.
Well,
folklore?
Silver. The other thing that silver does, it also gives off a molecular mist. And being as their sensitivity levels are so high, you put that kind of toxin in the air, they won't get near it because it actually causes pain.
That makes sense too. That's cool.
Exactly. And with that, stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back.
You are listening to S4 on Spreaker.com.
Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
Well, hello there. Us here at S4 would like to remind you out there that the UFOI team weekly meetings are broadcast live on Facebook from Denny's, where America eats, each Monday night, 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at UFOI Team on Facebook. The UFOI team's gear, product store, and newsletter are located on their website at ufoiteam.com. To contact the UFOI team with your sightings report or a paranormal story, send an email to theufoiteam@gmail.com. Keep looking up and tell us your story.
Forest Moon Paranormal is a non-for-profit emergency response team that handles all aspects of the paranormal, helping you, your family, friends, and community since 2004. Whether you're having a problem with hauntings, spirits, Bigfoot, other types of cryptids, or UFO activity. Maybe you're just unsure of what's bothering or terrifying you. Or maybe you're just afraid of criticism and disbelief. FMP is here for you. We handle cases globally and locally from our headquarters in Skagit County, Washington. We never accept any form of payment for our services and are 100% confidential. You can find us on Facebook under Forest Moon Paranormal. You can private message us for assistance, or just come join in the discussion and become part of our growing FMP community.
Hello, my name's Cole Wegleitner with Statement of Sound DJ Productions. We do mixing, monitoring, recording, and editing for all your audio needs. For our local listeners in the Skagit area, we are taking bookings for your 2019 events and parties. We have a wide array of music from any genre. Please allow us to help you make these memories last forever. Contact us at 360-999-2830 or on Facebook at www.facebook.com/SOSDJPro. Join us on September 28th at the Cedar-Woolley Community Center for 2019 Forest Moon Paranormal Paracon. VIP All Access passes on sale now at fmparacon.com. Your pass includes all-day admission to see the speakers and workshops, the Ghost Walk, a special VIP workshop, a special round table with the speakers, a Paracon t-shirt, and an FMP Paracon swag bag. These tickets can be purchased from fmparacon.com. Get yours today.
Hey everyone, Cole here with S4 Paranormal Radio, the official voice of Forest Moon Paranormal. Looking for a way to get the word out there about your business, group, team, or product? Let us help you. A few clicks is all it takes to get started at s-4radio.com, or you can contact me at 360-999-2830.
Welcome back to S4 with your host, Eric Cooper.
Welcome back to S4. Tonight we're discussing Project Blue Book and everything UFO and alien. You can also find the archives at our Spreaker site and on the S4 YouTube channel for all the shows you missed in the last 2.5 years. Anyway, back to the show. And you know, we're going on, July's going to make 3 years. And when we started S4, it was for fun, and it still is. I've always said when a radio show becomes a chore or a job and you just get tired of doing it, it's time to quit. And I mean, we're going on 3 years strong, and I'm not even close to being tired of it. But we got a special show coming in July for our 3 years, and I can't wait because Cole brought up some awesome ideas, and I like them. And the music we're going to try to get is going to be phenomenal. Wouldn't you agree, Cole?
Yes, absolutely. I hope.
I got to give a shout out to Dave Evans of ACDC. He's been with FMP for, 2 years. And we never hear from him because he's always on tour in Europe. And he's just awesome. He's the god, one of the gods of rock and roll. I mean, come on now. And,
it's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's awesome.
That's cool.
Every once in a while I do have the opportunity to jump out and talk to him real quick in between his tours and whatnot. He's got a house in Australia. That's where he stays most of the time. But and there's other groups that I'm in Facebook that, Oprah Winfrey's in, and it's amazing how many celebrities are secretly into the paranormal.
Some not so much.
Oh, well, some some of them, they gotta look at you and laugh and say, "Yeah, there ain't no such thing."
No, I mean some not so much secretly.
Oh well, yeah. Okay, I got you. Yeah, some of them are openly into it, and some of them use their celebrity status to make themselves even more famous in the paranormal side. No names, but we're also trying to get Dan Aykroyd on. Dan Aykroyd, believe it or not, everyone knows him as Ghostbusters, but he's been a ufologist or been into UFOs since the age of 7. And you wouldn't imagine that.
I'd stay away from Dan Aykroyd. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh God, no, Dan Aykroyd's great.
But ever since he came out with saying in 2005 that he was going to show everyone the video because he had the Chicago O'Hare video that nobody else had, and he was going to make a documentary about it. Mm-hmm. And he made that documentary where he's sitting there smoking like he's J. Allen Hynek. Oh, and well, that's what it reminded me of. Like, he's I'm a connoisseur of UFOs. I mean, the guy I never seen him talk about it. He does the documentary, talks about the movie. We don't hear from him in 12 years, 13 years, 14 years. What happened to him?
Well, I've seen him on several UFO documentaries over the years. So he
2005.
He jumps in every once in a while.
Nah, he's old school. He's done with. Forget him. He has been. Washed up.
And I gotta say real quick, I'm sorry, folks, for the ones in the chat room. My chat room froze. The rest of the panel's going to have to see your questions and go ahead and ask them as we go, because my chat room stopped moving.
Okay. Well, my Spreaker I can still scroll through. That's the easy part. Finding them is another question.
Right. Yeah. Last hour of the show. Yeah. Glitchy things happen. And
Tim says the Paracon commercial scared him.
It did.
Does that mean he's going to show up?
Who's that?
I hope so. Tim, Claremont.
Of course he is. They can't miss Paracon. Paracon's our big celebration at the end of the year, and then we get right back to work. Well, we're always at work, but
I was going to say, what do you mean back to?
Yeah, I know. We're still at roughly 3 cases a day, and that's slow. Have things slowed down? No, they have not. I don't think things will ever slow down. But that was unique. I've got things falling off the counter. Anyway.
Who did you tick off?
Oh, there's nothing here.
I was just a cat trying to prove that the flying world was flat.
Yeah, the cats probably did it. But no, in October, I had to move back to my train of thought. In October is when we start our training cycle all over again. So that's why I refer to it with that. We go back to Paranormal 101. We start all of our training over for the new team members. So our year starts over, essentially.
So, yeah, I always find my year starts over on January 1st.
Not for us. No, we start with the October, the fiscal year. So, this has been a crazy year, Keith.
Oh, you're telling me.
Why are we seeing? I mean, and Rich said it earlier. There's a UFO sighting somewhere in the world every day, and is it because there's new races coming to look at the circus?
We're getting some, and we are getting some new ones coming in that have been here for a very long time.
Are we getting any races that are coming here that have never seen Earth before?
Yes. And part of the issue, well, more to the point, they've never been to Earth. They've seen it from orbit, or at least from the system. But you got to understand that they are trained very heavily before setting foot on this planet, because there are very definitive protocols that they have to follow.
Right.
So Nikki's asking, how many species of aliens do you know are out there, Keith?
That I've personally dealt with in excess of 50. That I've heard numbers of. I've heard as many as 2,500 member planets of the Galactic Consortium.
So go into real quick the consortium, because we've mentioned that a few times on the show tonight. We've talked about the consortium many times in other shows. But for any new listeners out there tonight, go briefly.
In a nutshell, it is the governing body that keeps an eye on all of the alien races coming into the area to ensure that, number one, they don't try and strip mine the planet, or try to invade or eradicate the human race. Okay, but the consortium itself is more interested in the survival of the planet than they are the survival of the people.
So, is there anyone in the human race on the consortium?
There are a number of people that are actually deal with them, but not that are on the council. There can't be a human on the council until two things happen. One, the human race gets brought into the galactic family properly, and two, they can find a human that is absolutely not going to take a look at humans and go, they're the best of the best, and therefore they should have control over, that person looks ugly, therefore they're an evil person. Right. Mankind as a race is still too fear-based and too judgmental to sit on the council.
And I would agree with that hands down. So basically they're looking for ego to be dropped.
It has to be. The people that sit on the council, the reality is, much as there are as many as 2,500 member planets, there are only ever one member of any given race on the council. Okay.
Representing that planet.
No, the governing council is what governs how the entire consortium is run.
Okay.
You'll have one member from every race as a representative to the consortium, yes. But on the consortium council, you only have 12 on the council itself. But the reason they will not let more than one member of a race on the council is to avoid tipping the scales in favor of any race.
So
Trip is wondering.
Go ahead.
Trip is wondering if anything's been mentioned within the Offworlders that of us getting a picture of the black hole.
Well, they're actually pleased that you finally got a hold of one that you're admitting to.
Right.
By the way, this is not the first one they've got. This is just the first one they told you about.
Or the first one they released.
Exactly the point.
Yeah.
They've had pictures of black holes for years.
Well, okay, but I will say I honestly believe it's the first one, the young lady who was able to actually capture the image. I have to believe it's her first because the smile that she had on her face in the pictures.
Oh, and that I will absolutely agree with.
That smile was so big, it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
So
and that one I would absolutely concur with.
And I'm curious, though, was she supposed to release it, or did she just release it of her own will?
Idly odd, she released it first, and then somebody asked her second.
Yeah. She probably wasn't supposed to release it.
Probably not. But I don't think she gave any that she asked anybody.
No, I wouldn't. So
I think if she wasn't supposed to, she wouldn't have, because we knew at least 2 weeks in advance that it was coming.
Okay.
Like, they had released that they had already started decoding the algorithm to make the picture show 2 weeks before they actually showed the picture.
Okay. And so wormholes are actually one of the ways that some of the outworlders get through from their galaxies into ours, is it not?
That is correct.
Yeah.
It makes the distance travel a whole lot easier.
Well, yeah, and then, the skeptics out there go, well, yeah, it would take millions of years for aliens to get here. Well, actually, no, because they have technology that surpasses time and distance. So,
well, let's face it, if they were using human technology, it would.
Right. And, that's always been my argument, too, is, well, aliens can't live on Mercury because, according to our science, Mercury is inhabitable. Well, yeah, that's by our science.
And by humans, it certainly isn't.
Right. By human science, it's not. And, of course, we can't inhabit the planet, but doesn't mean other races can't.
No, but it's something, and I hope Eric makes it to the Paracon. But I will tell you this: I can actually show you. I can't really explain it well on the radio, but I can show you in pictographical form how an OTE drive works, which is how you can actually travel faster than light.
And that's some
but
of the
I don't have the scientific background to give you the formulae.
And that's some of the technology you were just given recently, is it not?
Yes.
So
that one I only got about a month and a half, 2 months before I had the stroke.
Nikki's wondering which species you work with the most and which one is the easiest to work with.
Oh, debatable as far as which is easiest, but the one I've worked with, and I've got some of my best friends, are the Cerzothian, which are your 7.5 to 8.5 foot reptilians. One of the, some of the easier ones, the Greys I find very easy to work with. Right. And even the Sparks are a snap to work, simply because I understand how they think.
Now, is it the Greys that are doing the most abducting, though?
They are. Okay. But they're also the ones that have facilitated, by doing the abduction, they're also the ones that have made it possible to safely do the hybridization program. What you'll find, and many people that you talk to that have been abducted will tell you they remember seeing humanoids, like taller humans. Right. 9 times out of 10, that's the Nords.
The Nordics?
The Nordics work with the Greys, primarily because the Nordics look more human than the Greys do, obviously.
Right.
And it makes it easier for the Greys to calm people down if they've got the Nordics there saying it's okay.
Now, where do my, I don't want to bring this up, where do my labs come into as far as the Greys and the other races that are working with the military and the governments?
This is a really dangerous subject for me. Right. But where they come in is the Smithsonians do work with them. The Greys have turned some technology over, but the reality behind it was the technology that was turned over was supposed to be released to the general public because it had to do with healing. Okay, the Greys and the Smithsonians have turned over weaponry to the Terrans.
And is that part of the mistrust and the reason they're watching now?
That is one of the biggest reasons, because the contracts that the humans did actually make, the humans have broken.
Right, and yeah, I can actually see that happening.
You know, like I've been asked whether I like humans better, aliens better than humans, and the answer is no. I prefer honesty over deception. Is the big thing.
Well, keep your friends close, but your enemies close and your friends close. Yeah, I
you got that backwards.
I did. But yeah,
you had it right the first time.
No, but yeah, keep your enemies closer. Obviously,
friends close, enemies closer.
Yeah, just not as close as what Caesar did. He made a mistake, went a little overboard there.
That wasn't family, was it?
No.
Make sure they're in front of you, not behind you.
yeah.
Okay, let's go into some of the craft. So, what do the Smithsonians fly?
They actually, if you've ever seen a cylindrical craft with a double set of windows, or what appears to be a double set of windows, they look like a cigar with a double bank of windows. That's your Smithsonian main craft. The cylinder craft that all they look like is a silver cigar with nothing else. Those are actually Pleiadian ships. Now, the Pleiadian ships are completely sealed, and they do not ever open the doors to let Terran atmosphere in. Because, quite frankly, we kill everybody on the ship.
Yeah, it's the Pleiadians that can't handle our atmosphere, correct?
Cannot handle our atmosphere at all. The hybrids can, but the Pleiadians themselves, you'll never see a purebred. Not on Earth.
Now, you hear all these people, they talk about Pleiadians and they're wonderful and they're soul sisters and brothers and they love the humans and whatnot. But how are they contacting humans? And are they?
Well, number one, yes, they are, but they don't trust.
And are we still on? All right, folks. I'm having computer issues here. My Skype just turned off. So I'm going to have to call everybody back in. So bear with me for a second. I'm going to go to commercial break.
You are listening to S4 on Spreaker.com.
Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
Well, hello there. Us here at S4 would like to remind you out there that the UFOI team weekly meetings are broadcast live on Facebook from Denny's, where America eats, each Monday night, 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at UFOI Team on Facebook. The UFOI team's gear, product store, and newsletter are located on their website at ufoiteam.com. To contact the UFOI team with your sightings report or a paranormal story, send an email to theUFOIteam@gmail.com. Keep looking up and tell us your story.
Forest Moon Paranormal is a non-for-profit emergency response team that handles all aspects of the paranormal, helping you, your family, friends, and community since 2004. Whether you're having a problem with hauntings, spirits, Bigfoot, other types of cryptids, or UFO activity. Maybe you're just unsure of what's bothering or terrifying you. Or maybe you're just afraid of criticism and disbelief. FMP is here for you. We handle cases globally and locally from our headquarters in Skagit County, Washington. We never accept any form of payment for our services and are 100% confidential. You can find us on Facebook under Forest Moon Paranormal. You can private message us for assistance, or just come join in the discussion and become part of our growing FMP community.
Hello, my name's Cole Wegleitner with Statement of Sound DJ Productions. We do mixing, monitoring, recording, and editing for all your audio needs. For our local listeners in the Skagit area, we are taking bookings for your 2019 events and parties. We have a wide array of music from any genre. Please allow us to help you make these memories last forever. Contact us at 360-999-2830 or on Facebook at www.facebook.com/SOSDJPro.
All right, folks, we are back. Sorry about that. I hate technology sometimes, but my Skype completely turned off, and so here we are. We're back. So where were we? We were talking about spacecraft. Who flies what?
Yeah. Now, of course,
no, we're talking about Pleiadians. That's right.
Yeah. The people that are talking about being in constant contact with them, I get a kick out of it in some ways, because I hear people tell me what they look like, and I'm like, okay, so clearly you're not actually looking at a Pleiadian. Because the thing with Pleiadians, first of all, you'll never find them on Earth. Okay. Right. Second of all, they are one of the most bizarre looking races in one sense, because they are totally translucent. You know, like you can literally see their internal organs.
Yeah, they're not. I mean, can they come to us via astral?
Well, technically, the answer would be yes.
Or
they just don't. See, the thing is, they are not exactly proficient where it comes to astral travel.
Okay. So astrally or interdimensionally?
Actually, astral, you're different vibratory.
Okay, and that makes sense. So are and I hate saying this, but are some of these people are they after fame, or are they after look at me, I'm special, or?
You may hate saying it, but I got no qualms about it.
Right.
and let's be clear. My viewpoints are mine. They are not necessarily coinciding with S4 or anybody on here.
Oh, right.
You know.
I just look at some of these, and I always look at YouTube videos, and it's like, really? Seriously? No, off-worlders don't go pick and choose people. And I mean, some of them do. I get that. But when you're talking about star seeds, when you're talking about, Pleiadians are my friends, and that's not the knowledge I know.
Well, the moment somebody tells me Pleiadians are my friends and I see them regularly in my house, I'm looking at them going, you're one of two things, either completely deluded or you're lying. Take your pick.
Right. Okay.
Because, they can't live on the planet.
So Joe's asking if the photos that Billy Meyer took of alien spacecraft real, and was Billy in contact with aliens?
Now, the sad part there is I cannot tell you for two reasons. One, I've never seen them, and two, I'm not a photo analyst. The best I can tell you is if they appear to be real. and that would require the first part being solved.
So Billy Myers is the one. All the craft that he took, they look like hubcaps. They're a completely silver, disc-shaped craft. And he actually started a cult after he started a following, a huge following. And I believe Billy Myers is the one that was in Switzerland.
Yep.
But he started his own UFO church, essentially, based on the contacts that he had with his alien race. And I believe it was, so you sound like you know a little bit about it, Rich, but wasn't it the Venusians?
I think it was. Yep. Not the tall whites. I think it is the same thing almost, right?
Well, no.
The Venusians are quite seriously more on a bluish tinge, but that would make sense.
But the tall whites are the ones that are actually known for being in Vegas, and
that's true.
And that was a different guy, because we've actually, Markham and I actually did a show 2 years ago about UFO cults. We talked about George Applewhite. We talked about Heaven's Gate, Billy Meyer. There's a whole slew of them. And
To the Stars Academy.
Yeah, that's too current.
I had to say it.
No, I know, but that's too current because again, that was 2 years ago that we did that show. Okay. And To the Stars was what? Was it last year?
17.
Yeah.
Yeah, 17 would be 2 years.
Yeah, but that happened.
It was December 16th.
Yeah, so it was actually 3 years ago that we actually did the show. It was before To the Stars came out. And yeah, that could actually be kind of called a UFO cult, alien cult, take your pick.
So, Keith, the one that Joe was talking about is the I Want to Believe poster made famous by the X-Files?
Right.
Right,
it's one of his.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, the one that looks like a saucer, with the traditional disc shape and the bubble on top, that's a standard gray. The flat top, the one that looks similar to a hubcap, is your Venusians. Although it's a toss-up whether it's just the Venusians or the Martokians, depending on who's running it.
And that's interesting because it actually kind of lends credence to Billy Meyer.
And by the way, just to clarify for the listeners, Venusians are amazingly enough living on Venus, whereas the Martokians are on Mars.
Okay.
Go Martokians.
Right.
The thing is, Martians are green, but they are not little.
Little green men.
Okay. Hey, Chris, wondering, with aliens here on Earth in human body, what percentage do you think are here in that form?
I would be amazed if there was more than 0.1%.
And which race would be living here?
Well, for them to be in a human body, there's only a few that could be. Okay, but I'm just taking it for granted that we're dealing with the ones that look human and are hiding here, or the hybrids that are on the planet as well.
Right.
Instead of just the ones that are inhabiting a human body, because there's only a few races that can actually do the inhabitation thing.
And what percentage here on Earth are hybrids?
Well, that would fall into that possibly 0.5% or 0.1% all the way across the board, including all of it. We are not talking about the start of an invasion here.
Well, no, not by any means.
So to be clear, to actually have those people at a 0.1%, you're looking at about 1 in 1,000.
Okay. And yeah, I kind of chuckle and laugh anytime I hear anyone talk about an invasion because there's not going to be an invasion. They're either going to annihilate or they're not.
Well, it wouldn't matter either way. In a nutshell, if there was an effort in an invasion or an effort in annihilation, conquest, it would be over before mankind knew it started.
Exactly. And that's what I meant by, it either happened or it wouldn't. There wouldn't be an in-between because they've got the technology and the know-how to just come in and do it.
Yeah, and contrary to mankind's inflated ego belief, no, mankind will not chase them off if they decide to attack.
No.
I mean, that would be kind of like a small town trying to stop China from invading.
And I could see him try.
Oh, they undoubtedly would complain about it if they lived long enough. But we could go into all sorts of doomsday on that one. Let's just take it for granted that no, the aliens do not want to conquer the planet.
No, and I gotta say, there's more important issues to worry about here on in our own civilization than to worry about aliens coming to try and take over.
Oh yeah.
Although it does make some people nervous with all the UFO sightings that are happening today.
Absolutely.
And it's just kind of our job to keep them calm.
Well, there is no point in letting people, just randomly or, wantonly develop panic attacks on it.
No. Just stop watching TV.
Right.
Yeah, good luck with that, eh?
Oh no, there's no luck involved. I don't watch TV. I don't watch
Keith,
news.
are you still able to see the speaker chat, Keith?
Yeah, they're showing me pictures of it.
Yeah.
Joe's popped up a couple for me.
Is that last one a Paladin ship?
A Paladin ship?
Or Palladian?
Palladian.
Okay, sorry.
I take you're talking in the consortium. Those are actually both Venusian. The funny part about it is the second one. Why the heck it's in atmosphere is a good question. That's a battleship.
Ruh-roh.
Some have been watching a little too much Scooby-Doo.
No, that's his phone ring.
Well, it's fitting for what we do.
Well, that funny little extended bubble on the top of the last one. That's a cannon that will simply burn a hole right through a concrete building. Basically, it's hellbore laser. Hellbore in as they can fire it at the plant and get to the core. They do that, the plant's hooped. This is why I say the technology mankind has is of no competitive nature.
Yeah, that sucks. There's another way to put that.
Really, how else you put it? Well, think of it this way. If they wanted to eliminate mankind, it would not be an effort.
Yeah.
No.
So, on that, are there other races that are at war with each other?
Absolutely.
And how many wars are going on that you're aware of?
3 that I know of right off the top of my head.
And why is that?
Well, because much as they've got better toys, they do not have that much higher wisdom.
And it's got nothing to do with Earth or humans.
No. Well, that's not 100% correct, but it's not against the Earth or against humans.
So
the wars I'm referring to are amongst their own.
So is it the positive?
Status.
Go ahead.
Nikki's saying that we're Pee-wee status compared to them.
That's
I have to disagree.
Doubt.
Because in order to be Pee-wee status, that means you're in the game.
Yeah.
And I don't imagine we are if that's their battleship.
No, that's a small battleship.
Yeah,
that's not a main battle.
No, but wait, I think what you need to understand is just because there's a battleship in our atmosphere does not mean they're here to
Oh God, no.
Look at it this way: some of the races are here to protect us to an extent. If there's another race that does want to come here and annihilate us, there may be a battleship here to protect us from that race.
Well, here's something to understand about the Martokians and Venusians. They've been coming here for centuries, quite frankly, for vacation. Well, if you think it's cold in the Arctic, you should try what it's like on Venus. Okay, it's a whole lot warmer in the Arctic here than it is on the equator there.
I can imagine, yeah.
Yeah. So no, they're definitively not here for battle. At least not against the humans.
So they're protecting us. They're protecting their vacation spot, basically.
Basically, yes. The other one that you might occasionally run into, and I don't think anybody has, is the Vulcans. And no, they are not the pointy-eared people out of Star Trek.
There is a race of Vulcans, though.
There is so. Vulcan itself is inside the photosphere of Sol, of the sun.
So is there any part of that actually is correct, of like the Star Trek version?
Absolutely. There's a whole staggering amount of it.
Like, are they logical?
Oh, you mean of the race they've called Vulcans?
Yeah.
Oddly enough, no, not really. I mean, they are logical, yes. But it's not a question of they control their emotions. They don't have them.
Well, that would suck.
No, what sucks is the vegans that don't have a sense of pain.
And that's exactly why in abductions, oftentimes they get confused when an abductee shows pain because they don't feel it and they don't understand it.
Yeah, I mean, a vegan, you can cut the arm off, and yes, he will have a problem picking things up from that side, but he doesn't feel anything else.
So then why would they care about Earth being saved if they don't have any feelings?
Because of the data that is stored in the DNA and the neural net on the planet.
But that shows they care.
That shows they're interested in the knowledge, not that they have emotion.
But that, I agree to
they
disagree.
are not mutually exclusive.
So imagine you have a hard drive full of information that's classified that you can't get ever again, and you have someone that breaks in that's trying to steal it.
Well, I hear you, I get it, but that shows a form of caring then, because that
caring,
means you
yes,
care
but
about
not emotion.
Okay, it's a little confusing.
I will not argue with you there.
Chris is wondering, without disclosure, how do these movie producers make characters so close to the real thing?
Because there are 4 producers that I know of that are in direct contact and have direct first-hand knowledge. I know 3 of them by last name. The 4th one I heard once, and I know where he is. I just don't know what his name is.
Chris Carter's probably being one of them.
That's one of them.
Yeah.
Spielberg and Lucas are the other 2.
Okay.
The 3rd one is out of Europe. Or the
That's
4th
not
one,
fair.
rather.
I want to make money like they do.
Well,
be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, you might want to qualify never mind, I'll put my foot in my mouth way past my hip.
No, I'm willing to do anything, Keith. Don't put that past me.
Yeah, I'll leave that for you to say.
So Keith,
let me be clear, I won't do anything. I already told Hollywood what to do with the contract once.
Right.
So Billy Meyer, no good?
Well, I got no problem with him.
His story checks out?
I would have to say, based on the fact that the craft is Venusian and that information from Billy Myers came out before it became public knowledge, that would lend him credence.
It's just amazing.
His story, I would have to say, from what little I know of it, Okay. Just based on the one fact that that he's claiming those a Venusian ship, and I will corroborate it. I got no problem there.
The rest of the information, I'd have to go back into my research on Billy Myers and remember exactly what his cult following believed and whatnot, and you would have to corroborate it that way. But yeah, the ship is Venusian, and Keith corroborated that aspect of it. So I would say that side of it is true.
Yeah. And like I said, I cannot speak to the veracity of the picture as to whether the picture itself is real. But I can tell you that the ship depicted in it is real.
Okay. Well, that speaks volumes.
It does. And, so for any of you listeners, if you look for Dante Sartori's ARB or Alien Races book, Keith and I have had, we've talked about it extensively on the show, and many of those races that he talks about in the ARB, which came from the KGB, or the Russian intelligence, a lot of those races do check out. But Keith knows them by different names.
That's where we run into a problem, because I'm probably the least researched person on the panel. As I told one researcher one day, it's one of these days I should research some of this stuff instead of just living it.
Exactly. And we're actually coming close to the end of the show, so I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping it up unless there's other questions out there.
There's undoubtedly other questions out there.
Yeah, there always is. So, real quick, Rich, go ahead and tell us where we can find your show.
My show is on YouTube. It's Goof on Radio Stream, and you can see it, hear it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. And you could also go to goofon.org, goofon.net, and goofonnetwork.ning.com. That's it. Twitter, Facebook, the whole thing, all that stuff.
And how long have you been doing your show?
13 years. Well, this show on Goof on Radio, this one's only been around 6 months. But been doing the the podcasting, live podcasting radio for 13. Exactly.
Yeah, you've been at it for a while.
Yep. And got out of it for a while too, and then get dragged back in.
Oh, it's easy to get back. You can always say, I'm getting out of this field. But no, there's a part of you that will never leave the field.
Well, it's like the saying goes, you can take the chap out of the country, but you ain't going to take the country out of the chap.
No.
Yeah.
Not at all. And Keith, where can we find you?
The easiest way to find me will be on my YouTube channel, which is R. Keith Andrews. Or if you look for me on Facebook, it's Ronald Keith Andrews or Inner Voice Enterprises. Either one you can find me on. And as Trippin has put out there a number of times, the easiest way to identify it's me is I've got a hand-carved UFO for my picture.
And are you still on tour, or do you have any more workshops that are coming out?
We are looking at going back out to Toronto sometime in early July. I've already been asked by a number of people to get out there. I've been asked to come out to Edmonton, Calgary, and Vancouver. So my publicist is just trying to accommodate finances and booking times, because I still have a 40-hour-a-week job I have to work around.
And where can they find your books?
That's the easy part. If you drop me a line at innervoiceenterprises@yahoo.ca, that's the easiest way to find them, because you order them straight through me. Right. I will be putting them on Amazon as soon as I can figure out how, and once we get everything moving right. That's one of those things I need to talk to my publicist about to get it organized. I'm not what we call technologically advanced on this planet.
Right.
Give me a holographic interface. I'm quite content.
Oh, no, I hear you. And Cole, where can we find Statement of Sound DJ services?
We are on Facebook at www.facebook.com facebook.com/SOSDJPro. And you can contact me directly at 360-999-2830.
And I got to throw a disclaimer on that, too, though. That is for locals. Because if you're...
Unless you can pay me a lot of money, I ain't coming to your wedding in another country. I'm sorry.
Oh, you want to tell that story real quick?
So I got a phone call from a gentleman in Germany who was listening to our show, and he was looking for a DJ for his wedding. Unfortunately, that wedding was in Germany, and I unfortunately cannot travel that far at this point just for a wedding.
No, I wish we could, because Germany's an awesome country. Oh, I spent 8 years there, and I miss it. So if you have a paranormal issue, if you have a UFO or a Bigfoot sighting to report, jump into Forest Moon Paranormal. You can find us on Facebook. And make sure you check out the S4 and the FMP swag. We're looking for a hat supplier, so we don't have hats, but we have t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, shower curtains, rugs, you name it. And we're always expanding. You can find that at www.s-4radio.com. So I want to thank our panel tonight. It's been a great show, minus the technical difficulties, but you know what? You get them. So I want to thank our crew tonight, Cole Wegleitner, FMP Culture and Lore Research Specialist and owner of Statement Sound DJ Services, Chris and Brent. Chris was listening. She is in the chat room, so I always include her in the show. She was just busy tonight. Chris is with the Extended Care team. We do have an Extended Care school going on right now, and I believe we can still get you in. I'm probably going to get slapped by Chris, but we can get you in.
That's okay. She'll use a car.
Right. And if you want to be in the Astro School, get a hold of Richard Benak, and we can, again, find a way to get you in. There are certain requirements you got to follow, but we can get you into the Astro School.
All right.
What? No,
were you talking to me?
No,
I thought I heard my name.
Oh, no, Richard Benak. He's our astral instructor.
Oh, good.
And
okay.
So to get in the astral school, there are certain meditations you have to do to get yourself programmed for astral. Those are some of the pre-requirements that he sends students before the school starts.
A small amount of probing.
And a small, no.
Okay.
So, R. Keith Andrews, our S4 alien race specialist, and Richard Giordano from the UFO Network. Make sure you check out our new FMP and S4 store with all kinds of cool gear. Again, it's at www.s-4radio.com. So next week we have a roundtable, and that's always one of our funnest shows during the month. It's usually the last couple of months we've changed things up. We do that once in a while here at S4, but for some reason it got switched up. I don't know why. That's one of my glitches. And the last show of the month, we're actually talking Nazis. They're, Hitler was into the supernatural. That's been documented. So we're going to talk about the paranormal side of Hitler, the Nazis, the UFO side. There was always a lot of question about Kecksburg. I'm sure you heard about that, didn't you, Rich?
Rich, you still with us?
Hello?
I'm not sure. I'm still here. Did
we
lose somebody?
Can you hear me? Yeah, you cut out. I heard you say my name. That was the last thing. Are you still with us?
Oh, okay. So the Kecksburg UFO crash was shaped like a bell. And some skeptics say it was a Nazi relic or it was a government experiment using the Nazi bell. Have you heard that theory?
Yeah, that the Nazis built the what do they call it? No, not Wolf Blitzen. What was the name they called that? I don't know. There was supposed to be some weapon that it might have been. I actually think they created what was created in the Philadelphia experiment when they made the ship disappear. They made this thing, I think, disappear in their little circular, octagonal little energy shield it was supposedly in. Who knows? We hear all these stories. And then maybe it appeared 20 years later over Kecksburg, other side of the world. Who knows?
And that was all part of Paperclip, actually. So Paperclip really happened, and that's
65.
where... Yep. And so we're actually going to, when we do the Nazi show, the Hitler show, we're going to actually talk about Paperclip a lot more extensively. So,
that's an awesome sighting, yeah.
Most definitely. We might have to bring you back for that show, actually.
Down. Do it.
Oh, we will. So, anyway, thank you for listening to the show tonight, folks. It was a great show. Make sure you join us next week for Roundtable. And with that, we wouldn't produce S4 if it wasn't for our listeners. You guys are great. And keep your eyes to the skies.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight on S4, the official voice of Forest Moon Paranormal. You can contact S4 through our website at www.s-4radio.com or on Facebook. Make sure you give us a like on our page and join the Forest Moon Paranormal group. If you are interested in advertising, take a look at our packages and contact Cole or Eric at 1-360-999-2830. Again, thank you. And remember, keep your eyes to the sky.